So, last we left off, everyone had a few days to spend time in the colony of Western, spending their hard-earned coin after converting it with the Wanderer's Bag. After doing so, and collecting new magic items, expending it on the town, setting up for new homes to be built, and managing the orcs and informing them to build a barracks and a well and so forth, and managed to get that underway. Flora had gotten her home being built up, and Argent had been improving plans for his super tower to be much more improved and designed upon once he finally decides where he's going to have it placed. As well as Velnak's home is currently in good use, along with a new dining table where Jandrin and Ilmar are now taking residence, as well as looking over the ship and making sure it's in shape, and that all who come to the new Drow Rangers Guild is going to be properly trained in the different dexterous arts of archery and their style of fighting. At this point as well, after getting informed of different creatures near the deserts to the southern of the areas, down by the farms of Westrun, closer to the plains, you were informed of massive centaur-like beasts, except the lower halves are scorpion-like with upper halves of human. The other creatures that have been of note to have seen are giant toothy maws in the sand, as well as a few other large creatures that seem to be roaming the areas closely. Though none of lizardmen have been spoken of, these creatures are still fairly dangerous, and in their larger numbers, they are drawing closer. You know, with exploring parties, that would be better to probably find the source, or even if the salt party that you would have the original intention of seeking out before, from long before meeting the first lizard man that you had taken down that attacked the first camp of orcs that is now in Keshi's care. But you do have an inkling that somewhere in this desert is the home from the information you've gathered from the Queen of Sacrifice. At this point, you gathered up your supplies, set out on your mission, while Jandrin and Ilmar stay behind to make sure everything is set for where they are. Velnak and Arjun had left a little extra coin with them, just in case some extra expenses come up or any other things get in the way of the continuation of the guild.
Or, if we all die.
That too. Leaving the town with your pack laden with loot. You also head into the desert with a fresh pack of gear. I believe Flora expended her some of her ritual components to cast spectral steeds with endure elements for all of you. And on the first day, heading out into the desert, you can feel the intense heat that would be far worse if you did not receive Laura's endure elements. And even Raziel keeping pace with you on your mounts, you could definitely tell has been a huge help, especially with Raziel having nothing but black fur. This would probably be murder on the creature.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Poor Raziel. Don't take me out into the desert, please.
Now this is traveling.
Off in the distance.
They're camped up on the ridge.
Suddenly, Keshi's horse burst into flames. It struck! The engine blows out in the head. It can't intake air.
You see Sebulba throwing a wrench at you.
Damn it.
Goddamn Sebulba.
At this point, the intense heat of this desert alone makes it very difficult to see the distance. You try and go by landmarks as far as you can tell. Looking back, there's at least the greenery still greeting you from the area of Western. Though, looking about, there just doesn't seem to be very much in the way of landmarks and maybe even architecture, if there were any, some kind of rolled over. Though it's still partially plains, as you set out for the first day, turns very quickly into nothing but sand and the occasional set of rocks that seem to manage to jut out from the dunes that haven't managed to bury the tip of whatever possible mountains or landmarks that could be there.
So what's our plan as we get closer? Velnak, are you going to look for tracks or something?
That's a start. That's all.
Wait, we came all the way out here without even having a plan?
I
Well,
just
we
kind
have
of got
the.
informed.
We know the general area. We just have to find them. I figured
Oh, and
there may be
yeah.
some sign of them.
yeah, this desert's so full of landmarks. I mean, I can see some sand over there.
I heard it was rough. Of course, and it's everywhere. Brushes out his pants a little bit. Just...
So are we just going to ride for
Are
a
you-
couple hours and hope that
Are
we
you
find
still
something?
in your lady form, by the way?
Why would I change it? You don't need to keep asking. I'll alert
just-
you when it changes.
I just want to know. I gotta make sure which way I'm asking.
Brings a great meme. So, are we just riding out into the middle of the desert and hoping that we find some tracks?
I guess so.
Alrighty.
Well, Josh, I mean, we got like an approximation, didn't we, of like about 3 days ride or something like that? I don't know.
For that, yes, it would be about four days out entirely.
Okay. So we'll start with that and then see what we find. Perhaps it's very obvious where their lair is. Could be. They could have corpses and pikes with skulls on them, for all we know. Scattered about.
Quite possible. Either way, I guess we're riding 4 days out into the fucking desert. Here we go.
Good thing we have endless water.
Good thing I don't need to eat.
Same.
Yeah, we have magical water and food, but, not a big deal.
Alrighty. So, heading out on your first day, just getting adjusted to the semi-intense heat, though with enduring elements, it's fairly relaxed and more of a tepid, though you could still feel that any more would probably be unbearable. As you're going along, go ahead and roll me a nature for anyone.
Definitely not me.
Nature.
Alright. So, what order are you traveling in? Are you traveling all together, side by side, closely?
Figured you just do that line.
Yeah, I'd figured we'd probably just do some kind of approximation of a line. Well, it
Yeah.
messes up occasionally with the dunes, but it's probably in a line.
So, luckily, Valnak, as you're getting closer, though it's very difficult to spot, you actually manage to catch it before going into it with your horse. You realize you're probably going to have to go ways out of your way for a little bit, is that there's a large patch of quicksand in front of you.
Fucking quicksand bullshit. Told you about the sand. Gets everywhere. Be careful. Quicksand.
Can we see like how wide it is?
So for the approximate size of the quicksand in itself, it's about a pool of 50 feet.
Like, what is quicksand, like watery sand?
Mm-hmm.
What? I mean, I kind of want to try my potion of water walking.
You totally could, because
I'm gonna try it. See if it works.
Your horse will sink, though.
Just get off the fucking horse.
Well, yeah. At first, I'll get off the horse and walk across.
That's the
See if it works.
There's very tiny puppy gnolls in the background, chasing after you.
They're adorable. I bet you
Nice.
an actual pet.
There's somebody at the door, so I'm just letting it happen.
I mean, if we roll, if I attempt to summon Phantom Steeds and get a high enough roll, they can move on water as a solid ground.
That's true. So,
Well, it appears this works. We could all cross this way.
Or we could just go around.
I'd rather
Like,
just go around.
This seems like a waste of money.
Catch, while you're out there, roll me a perception.
Okay. Waste of money. We're rich. These potions are like nothing.
So it's not too hard to perceive while you're out there, as the sands do kind of shift a little with your step and weight, and just ripples. One of your steps out there, though, you feel what looks like bone.
I will pick it up.
Roll me in athletics.
Okay.
Bone size, really.
Oh my god! All right, so you easily heft this skull out of the watery sand. As you do, you realize it's much, much larger than you were expecting. It's about the size of your chest, and in the middle is there one solid eye socket, but that's it. No jawbone or anything. It looks like it's been cracked, and maybe it looks like, from the way it is that probably a cyclops got stuck in here and died.
Well, I'll drag it back to the others and show them. Oh, look what I found.
You know what? How much space? Like how big is this quicksand section?
50 feet wide.
Yeah.
And then infinitely long. No, I'm just kidding.
It goes on forever. It's just a line drawn in the desert by God.
Okay, because I can create like a temporary portal that's got 20 squares of range.
Yeah, unfortunately, that would be like just in the middle of it.
Damn it. I can cast Water Walk on everyone.
Water walk.
Could cast it on the horses.
Wouldn't we need to stop for 10 minutes for water walk to be cast? By that time, we'd probably be around it.
I'm really fit just to walk around it.
Why is everybody so against going around it?
I mean, I'm not against going around,
I'm really
I'm
for
just
that.
saying.
When I said that, I mean I'm for going around it.
When you got toys, you want to use them.
I already got my dick in my hand.
Oh my god.
God.
What?
Long time.
Only
Too
way.
soon.
No, it's never the wrong time. It's now or never.
Fuck.
Well, I'm fine with going around. I was just trying to seek out a more practical way.
But you did at least find information of that cyclopses are in the desert.
Or at least used to be.
That is true.
I'm shooting a Cyclops straight in the eye the second we meet him.
He might have been the last one.
So there are people of the sand out here.
These sand points, too accurate for blast people.
God damn it. I can't believe I missed that at first. So, and a side note, this skull is fairly large.
Yeah, I probably won't try to take it with me.
Suck it off.
It really is too
One-
bad that I have no space in the haversack. Otherwise, we could take that back to go decorate your
This is too big for the haversack.
My new keep.
It is.
your rustic abode.
It is pretty cool.
Maybe we can grab it on the way back.
It's not too far.
Hey, landmark. Quicksand River.
Send, write it down.
It is a good point. It is a good landmark with the skull now.
Oh!
Well, I will leave it there, perhaps as like a warning to travelers. Maybe they'll stop and check out the skull and notice the quicksand before dying.
It's a good idea.
So, yeah, I'll just leave it out.
So it'll sit there. It'll get a nice sun bleaching, but it'll add more coolness to it. But
Cool.
it definitely does make a good marker just before where the quicksand starts.
Do I get plus 3 karma points?
You get plus 5.
Just kidding.
You've gained karma.
But heading around the large pool quicksand, it's fairly quick to get around after you are able to find the edge and skirt around and just be very careful about it. Heading further out, you can see the sun starting to go down. Not too much in the distance other than more rolling sands and dunes, the occasional rock here and there. You do see a few birds that look to be more of vultures and kind of pickers that would find whatever corpse just unfortunately happened to not make it in these lands. So, as you bed down for the night, you actually do feel the intensity of the cold starting to roll in as the desert goes from a piping hot that could practically cook a steak on a rock to a deep freezing cold that just quickly sweeps over as the sun vanishes behind the horizon.
As we sit down to rest, Argent gets out a candle and lights it in the middle of the camp, and a large magical bubble pops up around all of us. Enshrouding candle.
Oh,
From the outside, we're invisible.
did you name your jutsu?
Enshrouding candle jutsu.
Sorry.
I was just citing what it was, you know.
Ah. What does it do, Argent?
From the outside, we're invisible, and nothing can hear us from the outside.
Ah. That is very, very nifty.
Many a thing. Many. What are you thinking of? Nothing.
I like how it makes the stipulation that if anybody within the area of the illusion attacks, the candle's extinguished because 4E is allergic to any kind of strategy used.
So, after bedding down, setting up the candle for an area of protection from the desert and any of its denizens that might wander by, you do hear the howling winds rolling over the desert. Almost sounds like crying sometimes when the wind truly kicks up. It sounds like occasional screams. Even though the sands themselves get very, very cold, it almost feels like the desert itself is very unwelcoming of anything here. Life completely devoid. Even the fact that scouts found something out here is venerably almost unbelievable. The rising of the next day. At this point, Flora, you can go ahead and roll for your new horses.
New horses. Oh, those are
Pimp
better.
my ride.
Very nice.
Alright. Where is it? I have
Hey,
so many
20
pages.
20 is they ignore difficult terrain and have a speed of 12.
Yeah.
Very nice. So you're actually going to make an immense amount of headway now. As you're going over the deserts with the rolling sands and so forth, I would imagine you also cast Endure Elements again.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it seems pretty peaceful. You do see what looks like a pack of desert jackals kind of trailing behind for a bit, like they're trying to keep pace with you for a while. And then finally there's a point after they seem to have been following you for about half the day where you actually see something erupt from the sand for a brief moment, and you realize that it actually grabbed one of the jackals and is now quickly dragging it away and stabbing a stinger into it. As you recognize a giant scorpion actually ambushed one of them that unluckily and unfaithfully walked across its path where it was hidden underneath the sand. At this point, though, it manages to dissipate most of the pack. The other jackals and dogs seem to be more involved with the giant scorpion now that is kind of dragging away one of the pack creatures, and slowly gets more distant from you all.
Fucking scorpion thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, as you make very good time on this day, you start to see a few more notable areas that seem to be easily more landmarked. Different rocks and crags, larger standing, different shaped plateaus that could be at least notable now. Not immensely huge, but high enough where the dunes don't swallow it whole and build up to it very closely. At this point, you do see a few more strange-looking things in the distance, though. For the time being, it's a little too difficult to make out at this distance unless you want to try and get closer.
What are we seeing?
So,
You do-
how many figures?
For this, it looks like a pack of 6 people traveling,
We should have bought binoculars.
or spyglass.
Or a glass for
See, I
spying.
saw the spyglass, but then I remembered that spyglass doesn't technically exist, the magical one.
It's just a +2 perception. It's just a spyglass.
Can't I use my elven eyes to spick them out?
Legolas, what do your elven eyes see?
You can give it a shot, but at this, like I said, at this distance, you can just see
High roll. Okay,
Ooh.
not high enough.
they're definitely humanoid in shape. It looks like they stand very tall, but with the rolling heat, it's just very hard to tell.
If I arch my arrow and hit them in the face, will they die?
One way to find
Suppress
out.
your arrow reach that far.
Great bows are a disgusting range of like 500 feet with disadvantage.
Disadvantage.
Disadvantage doesn't exist.
Oh,
-2, I believe, right?
Yeah, I think it's a -2 for long
Yeah.
range.
it would be a -2.
Basically disadvantage. Anyway, you
Well,
guys want to try to get closer? No, maybe.
we could all get closer, or we could send one of us to creep up on them and scout them out.
You know, I think we should go talk to them, just because they might be who we're looking for, or they might be one of the town scouts and they might be able to give us information. I mean, who else is going to be out here in this desert?
Very, very true, but if they start looking like they're Cyclops people, or people of the sand, we should be wary.
Okay, so we have 2 votes for possibly getting closer. Anybody else want to weigh in?
I'm fine for getting closer.
Okay, we have 3.
Alright.
Velnak.
We're going.
All right, let's go.
Alright. So, approaching during the day still.
Yeah,
Alright.
we saw him during the day. I don't know why we would wait.
Okay. So, riding closer, you can see that they themselves are moving in a decent pace, but not too fast. Obviously, it looks like they're probably just trying to keep the heat from bearing down on them. As you get hit to a closer range, you actually start to see that these people are actually very tall. They seem to be dragging some form of bag behind them, fairly large. It looks like it has a good amount of weight and it's displacing a good amount of sand. They don't really seem to be paying attention to your direction. As you finally start getting closer, you realize that they're, well, it's about 100 feet out. So yeah, go ahead and give me another perception once you're 100 feet out, unless you want to get closer than that.
Ah!
Everybody's not an elf gets a +1 to perception.
Alright, so we got 2 13s.
Yes. Should we go find it?
Don't worry, Argent will pick up the slack.
Alright.
A massage Argent to make his eyes better.
Perception sucks.
Legolas, let me massage your eyes. That's hella gay, man. Don't do it.
Yo, dude, don't touch my eyes.
Alright, so everyone with, well, unfortunately just Argent made this one then.
Yep.
You're able to actually tell that these are gnolls.
Slay them.
They're gnolls, right?
Yep.
Is that a gnoll? Squinting.
Do I know anything about gnolls, Josh?
Yeah, they got hunchback.
You know nothing good ever came out of meeting a gnoll. Usually they're very savage. They're very quick and mean to kill anything else that's usually not gnoll unless you have some form of bargaining. Especially,
I'm gonna hit the 1d20 15 to stealth, and then I'm gonna shoot them.
what are you gonna
I
have
was gonna
behind
try to bargain with them. I have Abyssal.
Oh, never. I'm still gonna stealth behind a nearby rock.
I will too.
Alright. So
We'll send the doll and the woman.
Well, I mean,
I want to say to the party before we do anything, though, that we should possibly see what they have in that sack. It could be captives or people that would be in need of help.
yeah, could I see if the sack was moving at all? Independently?
this far out, the 20. You can see it shifts a little.
Could just be the sand, but it moves a little bit.
Yeah. The fact that they're still moving and dragging it along, it's just very hard to tell at 100 feet out.
Well, I
think we should
speak
just
in Nolan.
charge at them with the horses.
I don't think they're going to give up their captive if they do have one. I'm not sure what bargain we could strike.
I guess we don't really have all that much food. Let me look in the bag. Argent opens up the bag of holding.
I mean, I have as much food as we need.
I guess, yeah, we could try throwing food at them. Well, if they're alive, does telepathy work if you can't see the target?
Depends if you know they're there.
What if I assume they're there?
If you assume they're there, you could try and see if there's something that feeds back. If it's an animal, you would usually get back grunts and other animal noises, usually.
Because I have 25 feet of telepathy with my helmet, so...
Yeah, so you just have to get within 25 feet.
Well, if we're going off the assumption that they might have some kind of captive, why don't we go try to talk to them and try to bargain for some food? I can speak Mole, so it might work.
I suppose it's worth a shot, but we should all, 90% chance, prepare for combat.
Obviously.
I've never seen a gnoll not try to butcher people.
Well, they seem...
They're sand people. You can't trust them.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's all go over there then, because if there's only two of us, they'll probably just attack because they have more.
Right. I will make myself known then.
Alrighty.
Let's go on over.
So, how close are you going to get before calling out to them? Because they don't seem to even realize you're there. They seem intent on dragging these large bags.
Oh, they have more than one.
Yep.
Getting closer, how big are the bags?
It looks to be about person size, with probably a little bit more weight to it.
Okay,
Argent.
yeah, so...
When we get closer, you will demand of them to open up their cloth.
Hi, Noel, can you open up your cloth? Open the cloth. Send me a nice pic of your slaves. Of your slaves? Okay. I guess within shouting distance.
Alright, so you ride over on the spectral horses. Soon as you get within shouting distance, I would say it's probably just about 40 feet or so for them to hear you. You see them all stop. You can see some are a little covered in armor, with more of a tattered, savage-looking leather. One has a bow. Two of them seem to have a fairly mean-looking cudgels. And then the one in the front seems to be more ornately dressed with what looks more of like a worshipper's kind of attire. At this point, they stop. You see the three that are dragging bags immediately stop and grab their weapons. And then the other one that seems to be kind of leading the pack out front, more ornately dressed, pulls his small ornate-looking little cudgel as well, and just quickly barks out at you. What do you want?
Hey, Josh.
Yes.
because I worked on an orc slaving ship, does this look like they totally have captured like slaves? Would I have any kind of hint or inclination?
This looks exactly like what somebody would do if they're dragging slaves along. It'd be far easier than lugging chains around, and the fact that if they just tried to burst out of the back, a gnoll could easily pace them down and just beat them to death.
In Abyssal, I only wish to talk.
I waste no time on talk. Money and profit must be made.
All right. I was hiding. I forgot.
Velnax is like dragging a rock in front of him. Like, I'm hiding. Stealth check.
Josh, I'm hiding.
So, I'll tuck you behind the rocks, don't worry. Hey.
Okay, do you want me to roll a thing, though?
Yeah, hit that
See
stuff.
how well it is?
Hit that
okay,
stuff.
no one sees
Oh
me.
my fucking god, you're invincible. You're invisible, so... Yeah. As he's, as the main leader is kind of yelling out, unless you have need for slaves and food and precious items of sacrifice for the lords, I suggest you leave me and my pack alone.
Argent, are you translating this for us?
Yeah, I'll turn aside and talk in common.
Could you ask them what they plan on, or where they got those slaves?
Where did you get the slaves?
No.
What is it to you? Are you going to buy them?
Depends where they're from.
So,
I love your abyssal voice.
are you dead serious that you would buy it from him?
Yeah, I mean, literally, depending on where they're from, I would buy them. Like, if they were captured scouts from the town, I would buy them.
Alright, so he, you can see him eyeing you very, very carefully. At this point, after what seems a very unnerving long silence, they come from the great walking cities and cantonments, where they grow their food. We stole some of the most precious. Their skins are very pale. You might like their exoticness, but it will make them a higher price.
One second.
Perhaps he'll take food, Argent. You did say you wanted to suggest that. Argent?
Hello?
He stepped away for a moment.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, you did? Oh, my bad.
Would you say they look like us, or are they say the same size? I'm trying to get a picture for what kind of race you're talking about here.
At this point, he just snarls. Step closer. I'm sure your slave is carrying whatever you have for food or offering.
Wait, what? He said Deb Classa?
Step closer.
Me? Oh.
He wants to see what you're offering for food or trade.
Flora, you said you had food?
No. Yeah, I can just like summon food. It'll take a few minutes.
We probably should have done this before we approached them. You know, I'll take out a handful of platinum. How does he respond to that?
You can see he sits upright. Bit of a glint in his eye.
Ooh, he does respect civilized currency. I'm kind of surprised.
Exotic metals.
I mean, I feel like if you're just all of a sudden showing some shit, you're just like, wait a minute,
This might be of interest.
give me a minute.
What are those? He kind of points to the platinum in your hand as you pull it out.
Where I come from, these are currency exchanged for goods. It's part of civilization.
I've got an idea.
It is made out of rare metals, though.
I can create gold.
What? Why are we doing anything when you can just make money?
It's fake gold, but that's all gnolls deserve.
Telepathically, make some fake gold. I'll keep him talking.
Alright. I'm gonna use my feature to speed it up so it'll only take me 30 seconds.
Alright.
Oh my god.
Alright. How much gold do I make? 23. Lasts for 4 hours times 10 multiple. Component cost, right, it's based on my component cost. So if I put just 100 residuum into it, I get 1,000 gold
Jesus Christ.
that lasts for 4 hours.
Oh my god.
So 1,000 gold. It's pretty damn impressive. So you're doing that on the side as you approach. You could see him waving. Show them. At this point, you could see as he's looking you over carefully. You're not sure why, but he seems to show at least a little attention to you as well. Not just on the aspect of that you're female, but on the aspect as well as that you look fairly different, but on a slender form.
I'm exotic.
Yeah. So, where did I put that?
Slaves. Man, if we buy a bunch of slaves, we're gonna have to fucking go back to town.
So,
we're like show up again and fucking John J. Ilmar are gonna be like, oh hey, you guys are already back. Take these slaves, we're leaving again.
oh god. Just trying to pull up these slave tokens real quick. Oh. Where? I'll probably just get these two real quick. I thought I had them prepared, but they seem to have been erased from my library.
I erased the slaves beforehand. I never intended to let them be seen. That's interesting, they aren't really looking at Keshi. I would have expected them to be in on the whole half-orc means. Disgustingly terrifying.
They called her a slave. Like they.
Oh, that was who they were calling a slave?
Yeah, they said I think I assume your slave has what you're expecting to trade, basically.
Jesus
Oh, I
Christ.
missed that.
Well, luckily
I heard that, but
it was an abyssal, so.
Oh, right.
I mean, Arshan's also translating, so I wouldn't have excluded it.
That's good though, because that also means that they don't suspect anything. They just assume that you're part of the group and nothing too out of the ordinary.
Alright. Waiting for it. I mean, couldn't you just... You're still trying to find the token.
I'm just pulling them up.
Okay. Just making sure you weren't waiting for me to continue talking.
No. So, just bring these in real quick. So, as they open up the bags, you do see.
They open up their cloth.
Yes, they open up their cloth.
The cloth wizard.
Do I see some bobs?
Send me a nice pic of your bobs.
You do. But only one set of bobs, unfortunately. This. Where is it? There. So, as they reach in, you see them quickly grab chains and yank these people out as they kind of throw the sacks across to the side. You can see inside the sacks as well that there was clearly other items that they travel with, like bedrolls and so other such items, so forth. Nothing dangerous, just soft cloth. So while they're dragging them, they don't get too beaten and bruised from where they yank them and occasionally beat them for resisting. You can see them holding the slave chains. Two men that look covered in tribal tattoos, as well as the woman. Very clearly not from Westren, but this is also the first time you've seen humans. Other than though you didn't probably you've seen no other sign or evidence of humans in these lands.
These humans could have information about this desert that would be valuable to us.
And on top of that, they could be the evidence of another civilization that we could work with.
Very true. It's kind of strange to see humans in these lands. Besides our own group.
At this point, he holds out one claw and kind of waves the cudgel. Come inspect. I'm sure you'll enjoy these fine choices.
That's a fine selection of meat.
Allow me, Argent.
Yes. I don't envy you.
So I'll approach, still on the steed with my maul out, kind of like over my lap. I'll ride up, glaring at them, kind of just not really liking them, obviously, but still looking at the slaves and the people and seeing if they're okay.
At this point, when you get closer, he kind of just quickly steps forth, takes the chain from the other, and yanks this man quickly over. Kind of, as he tries to resist a little, smacks him in the back with the club to knock the wind out of him. And then just quickly grabs his jaw and makes him open his mouth to show that his teeth are okay, and grabs one of his arms to hold him out to show that his hands are still alright.
He's an experienced slave trader.
Yeah, I have some experience dealing with slaves and stuff. Argent, let's pretend I'm telling you some important information about these slaves, and you can tell them that they were all good.
Yes, very good.
How? That's the meaning of price. Each easily worth 3 times their weight in food. Or their weight in precious sacrifice to appease the lords.
I think the one behind me will provide this precious sacrifice you're being for in just a second. She is getting it out of her bag. Flora, create the gold.
So, Flora, you...
Top 10 Knoll pranks.
I'll go give them my 1,000 gold.
He has a very wicked grin as he sees the you approach with the bag and open it up. He's very wicked grin. You just hear him chuckling at like the hyena just is. Okay. Yes. That should be enough for this one.
Excuse me, you said there, wait. That's easily at least 2.
Then which 2 will you take? At this point, you can see the other 2 that are just kind of being held in place are beyond terrified, even though they kind of keep the distance as much as they can. The chains are very taut. The other 3 gnolls are just salivating and looks at them very hungrily, like they're gonna probably just eat them if they don't get to a place of trade too quickly.
God damn. Kashi, Flora, it seems that what we have is only enough for 2 of them.
Perhaps I could get them to accept the deal for 3 with some threats. What do you think?
If you want to threaten them, I'm gonna
Translate for
nonchalantly.
me.
No, I'm just gonna nonchalantly walk over and take the polyglot gem off from around my neck and hand it to you.
Oh, okay. Well, that works out much better.
Yeah, it takes a minute, but you can speak Abyssal now.
So,
But-
as you just on a quick side note, Arjun, as you got closer, you do see that the gnoll is watching your face very, very, very carefully, and his eyes did go a little wide as he kind of catches what seems to be more of your slender form.
Oh god damn! These niggas want the fucking. God damn! They don't even want that Kashi ass. They want my ass.
Well,
I'm
you do remember from the few pieces of evidence you've seen of the Snake Lords that they have intermingled with the other races.
No.
and you have seen the one other orc that had very slender features as well, though usually orcs are very brutish. That on this you might get an inkling that he might think you're one of the special children.
Oh, okay. All right,
Okay.
that explains it.
Yeah. Okay.
So, Josh,
Yes.
I'll stand right here.
so from my experience, like, because I did work on an orc slave ship for a while, what's like the worst place for like a slave to go that I experienced?
Probably the fucking black mines where it was mostly kind of like sulfurous coal mines that were still hot.
Oh, nice. So I'll start speaking to him, and if you want me to roll intimidate, I will. But this is what I'm gonna say.
You totally can with a +4.
Oh, sweet. Because I'm gonna reference that. Oh, fuck. Alright, but this is what I say. You will give us 3 for what we have offered you, for if you value your lives at all, for we will put the bites of iron around your wrists and march you through this desert. But oh no, you won't die here. You'll die a slow, painful death in the black mines, working until you can work no more.
Holy shit.
At this point, he kind of snarls, but just and you can tell he's about to try and intimidate you back, but then he looks to Argent, still female,
Mm-hmm.
and you can tell he's trying all his might to bite his tongue.
Damn. I never knew this ring would work so well.
Yes, yes. For the lady of the lords. So
Then
he'll
take it and go.
Yeah, he'll begrudgingly take the cache of coins from you, Flora. Though,
Coins in quotations.
yeah, the transmuted gold for the time being. And he looks to the other gnolls and waits for them to hand over the chains. At this point, you could tell they're all terrified. As they hand over 2 chains to you, Kesh, looking more able-bodied, they hand you the 2 males and hand the more meekly-looking woman, though she's still fairly strong-looking, over to Flora. May the desert winds guide you, my lady. As he kind of gives a small bow.
May the winds guide your stench away from us.
At this point, he even with the fucking bag, he just snarls at you. And then he turns around, immediately slaps the cudgel into the chest, the big guy beside him, and just quickly gets them to pick up the bags and start moving.
Good job, Ketchy.
Well, they aren't the only savages around here.
Yeah.
I'll immediately begin unshackling these slaves.
I think you should tell them that everything's alright first. They'll probably just try to run away.
Does this gem work for whatever language they speak?
It works for the language of demons.
Well, I will try it all the languages I know, then see if they understand.
Telepathy, I'll tell them it's okay.
Yeah, I'll use telepathy as well.
Is telepathy like a universal language?
Telepathy is like, if they have a language, they can understand it.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
like your brain auto-translating it as you kind of will what you're trying to say.
I also have telepathy. I guess
Oh my
we're the
God.
telepathy squad.
At this point, they hear their new owners speaking telepathically to them, and just immediately on their knees and just kind of bowing down to you into the sand, just burying their faces in the sand.
I will pull out the food, the actual food I brought with me, and ask Argent for his water as well.
Yeah, I'll take out the decanter and the large bowl that we use to refill things.
Huge bowl of water and food. They just they all start scarfing it down, just completely impatient, but you can tell that they've probably been hungry maybe for a few days now. Looks like they've been barely given enough water, as their lips are fairly dry looking, but enough to kind of sustain them.
I also motion for Velnak to come, like, the all clear.
Yeah, Velnak, it's safe as they start vanishing into the distance of the mirage of the heat.
If you could see Vilna, like his bow was.
See him. His time is
Yeah.
now.
His time is now.
Fucking kill me.
Now this is slave racing.
Oh.
He raises his great bow above his head.
Now, start racing.
Pod racing. But he does come from, I guess, this rock. His bow was fully pulled back at the time.
Yeah.
Was being released.
Yeah, you from the amount of years that you've done slave trading have unfortunately done far too much with Knowles.
I'd like to
I'm
ask
good
this guy while he's drinking telepathically, because thinking out answers probably isn't that difficult while he's eating.
Mm-hmm.
So where did you come from exactly? Are there more humans here?
Humans? We are the children of the sky.
That's where that's what the round ears are called back where I'm from. Is there a lot of you?
There's many of us. A great city on top of the Colossus.
Are you independent, or do you serve the Snake Lords?
No. We don't serve the Snake Lords. We serve the great prismatic dragon who saved us.
Oh, does he frequent an old man farm with canaries? No, I'm just kidding. I don't say that.
How'd you know his father?
We come from a group of people that very much like to meet your civilization. We were convinced there was only one group of civilized people here, us. After this, you're free to go, but we would love to meet your leaders.
Do you understand what a map is?
Yes, we don't have one. We've been dragged blind through the desert. If you leave us here, we'd surely die.
Can you point out where your civilization is on our map? Is what I'm getting at.
I could try.
Arjun, what do you think?
Well, I mean, it's a good bonus thing to do. I mean, in addition to wiping out the Snake Lord's forces, we could also meet the only other civilized civilization out here.
Yes, having an ally would be nice. It would make us feel a lot less alone out here in this unforgiving land. Do your people war with the lizard folk?
We do not seek war with them, lest they would seek to destroy our cities. They grab who they can, who strays too far from the safety of our guards and sentries, but unfortunately it cannot be helped. The power is great, and if we sought the ire of one, all would fall upon our city. We have a humble peace between each other. We do not seek to quarrel, but we are permitted to kill those who would steal our people unpermittedly.
I would not call that peace, but so be it. So Argent produces the map, I assume.
Yeah, sure.
Can you make anything of this? Do you see any landmarks of where your civilization is?
So, this is just the one you got from Hula, Arjun?
Yeah.
Alright. As this man kind of studies for a brief time.
I'm probably asking all three to look at it.
The woman kind of just sits there a little stunned. She's still very, very sheepishly kind of keeping the chain taut, even though she's still kind of bowing in respect and being very grateful for the food. You could tell she seems to be, unfortunately, a little more stunned from the instance.
She's a little broken.
Yeah, she's a little shattered for the time. She's not very trusting, even if even though you're being very kind to her.
It's understandable. She's in survival mode.
Mm-hmm. At this point, two men are poring over it very carefully. Like, if they really dragged us this far, week away from the closest way to get back. At this point, they point to some of the mountains that kind of not too sharp, but seem to be a marker on the map of a good area where the desert kind of peaks out and starts making some crags and becomes a little bit of a maze. Just closest area we could probably try and find someone if they're still there, and maybe get back home. Even if we were just there, we'd be able to hide until they're able to send help, and we can easily send word to wherever you are in the desert.
Oh, actually, we don't live in this desert. We live beyond it.
You're from the jungles in the north.
Yeah, we do live in a jungle. Yes.
I'm amazed you've lived this long.
Wow.
Well, we have been with our share of strife.
Man,
What brings you
But-
to this horrible land, though? Heat and lack of food.
Right, back in food.
New lands to tame. Our people are strong. We have big magics.
uh,
Bad.
how about we get the chains off of them?
I
feel
thought
like
I
we need to
said
donate
I
chains.
did.
Yeah, Keshi already got
Oh,
the chain. But
Oh, okay.
the other one is handed off to Flora, and she's been keeping too much of a distance to kind of get them off.
Alright, what is it?
Yes.
How long does that gold illusion?
4
Nice.
hours.
Oh, we need to go.
They're going to be absolutely fucking pissed when they get the money after they got intimidated for that fucking money.
Yeah,
Turns into nothing.
they are gonna be furious.
Just so you're aware, I can speed these 3 along back to our home.
I mean,
How so?
I do have a ritual to speed up travel, but it only works to places I've been before, which is why I haven't used it yet.
Ah, is it called Town Portal?
Ooh,
I've heard of this spell.
legends. Tell
I'm-
me of this spell.
I'm going to
I
try
don't
speaking
believe
up.
I have a spell called the Town Portal.
I mean, I'm going to try speaking out loud to you. Tell me if you can understand anything I'm saying, and I'll try my full range of languages and translate it Draconic from my boy Puck.
Draconic
No.
words.
Oh.
You just immediately hear him kind of speaking out, like, "Yarasefuso?"
Yeah, I kind of have to have my familiar translate that one, but at least we know what you speak now.
It's called Find the Path. It speeds up travel by 10 miles a day.
Fucking damn.
Well-
And for the duration, I know the exact direction to where I am going.
I mean, I personally think that we should. Well, actually, how much food do we have? How much food did Keshi bring? Because
You still have a fuckload.
Food,
oh yeah, I
Food
forgot. I didn't
is
get
of
rid of
no
my old
issue.
food either.
I can summon an entire day's worth of meals if given an hour.
Speaking in common to everybody, I think that we should first let's take them back to their civilization. I don't really think we should just send them back to where we live. That just would create a whole other problem since nobody there can probably speak Draconic. And it probably wouldn't make them too happy. But if we take them back, we might, earn some credence with this new civilization. And we might gain another ally for the town.
I agree.
That's probably not
It's-
that far out of our way.
Yeah, the crags on the map, Josh. How far away do you think it looks?
About a week's travel.
Hmm.
On horseback, it would probably be like 3-4 days.
Oh, a week like on foot.
Mm-hmm.
But don't we have like turbo horses?
Depending on what you roll. On this,
Yeah,
it
they
would-
go-
The horses can
It's like
vary
nitro.
from day to day based on how I summon.
I'll assist you tomorrow to give you a better chance, because
if she keeps getting like turbo horses, it'd probably be like 2-3 days.
Well.
And that's like constant writing.
Also, Argent, we should probably ask them if they perhaps know the location of the snake people's lair.
yeah, sure. What actually brings us into the desert to begin with is we're hunting down some children of the serpent god that attacked our civilization's scouts. Do you happen to know where they are in the area? Have you run into them?
A pious snake lives in the mountain. She took one of the temples and made it her home. People sit in the village outside of it, guarding her every day.
Alright, well that will be our second stop after we drop you off at home.
If you are to make your way there, beware the first guard outpost. It's a hard climb if you go over the mountains. Too many sharp edges. It'd cut your skin to ribbons. Unfortunately, the way through is guarded by one of the meaner guard lizards. It's large with a vicious tail, cracks bones, and it's been trained to just quickly eat without question.
Appreciate the warning, but we decided we're going to take you home first, probably.
Yes. And in the night, perhaps you can look for the blaze as we set fire to their camp.
Keshi, I don't think they want you to set fire to their temple.
I was talking about the guard camp that they warned was in our path.
Ah, okay.
I look forward to it. Those verminous bastards have taken so many people from us.
If you have warriors, now is the time.
God damn it.
Oh, God.
It's too bad I don't have any extra clothes. I feel kind of bad for them. But, I mean, it probably beats being eaten alive by gnolls.
Yeah, pretty
Every
much.
time Every
I
time
mean,
it'll be eaten alive by gnolls.
I mean, I was being silly, but also kind of serious. If they have warriors, I mean, now is the time.
They know, like, we would definitely send help, but first we must at least get a signal out to our people to come get us and tell us what's going on.
I want to
Yes.
cast Calm Emotions so I can actually get the chains off of this lady who doesn't trust us yet.
Ooh, very nice.
Meanwhile, in their own language, do they say is like subtitles like, are they bringing additional warriors? They didn't say.
This is getting out of hand.
Sorry, go ahead. Calm her.
Alright, so just need to get within touch range, I assume?
It's non-hostile humanoid creatures with 5 squares of me.
Ooh, very nice. Alright, so You can actually see her kind of relaxing the tension of the chain. She seems a little more focused now, though she's still silent. She's not worried about letting you get too close anymore, so you're easily enough able to remove the chains. At this point, you the other two do mention that unfortunately they were using her every night. Been dragged out here for days.
I'm sorry to say that I don't have any clothes to give you. We kind of planned on not acquiring slaves along the way.
By the way, this is Argent, and my name's Keshi. And the quiet, dark one over there is Vilnak. And
I don't even think I can talk to these people, right?
Unless you have telepathy.
Nope. So you guys are just talking, and he's just going like this.
I'm translating in common every time they speak, but
well, I introduce us and ask their names.
I'm Kufulu. The first man speaks up.
Hulu?
Kufulu.
I'm getting this. Okay.
He's Cthulhu?
Cthulhu. I'm naming him Black Man 1.
Ah. Your name is very similar to a different name, sir.
I'm watching.
Jafar.
Oh my god. Yes, as he rises out of the sands in genie form.
Sands?
Blast.
Doesn't he know how coarse it is?
Oh, and everyone, just by the way, if we ever need to climb anything, I can make a magic rope.
You're infinitely useful, Flora. I am so glad to have you.
Said bracelets of brachiation, so I just get climb speed.
The other man quickly pipes up. He's like, "My name is Zardin."
And what of your quiet companion? What is her name?
Gandhi.
No, her name is Hedja.
What did they do to her to make her like this?
I think he just said that the Knolls raped her a bunch.
Oh fuck! I missed that part.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucked up.
Said they were using her every night.
If I would have known, we would have killed them to a man.
If it makes you feel any better, we just gave them fake money, so they didn't actually get anything from that transaction.
Yes.
But I do not wish to stay around here much longer.
You have nothing to fear.
Have a 4-hour head start.
4 hours.
In that time, we can be very far with.
Then please, we must take this time preciously. They are great trackers in the desert.
Tracking?
There.
Not these horses, brother.
And even if that were the case, they only hasten their death.
I cannot thank you enough. I must admit in my ignorance of not knowing who you are, I thought you were the daughter of one of the Snake Lords.
Oh no, I'm just an elf.
But perhaps you could bring our good wishes to your people and inform them of our actions.
Indeed we will. We will let them know that we no longer are alone.
Oh, and
well-
before we go, I'd like to set up a glyph.
Ooh.
will set it on the place that we traded with the gnolls. It is a glyph of warding. If they come back and investigate this area to try and follow us, it should detonate.
Oh shit!
Yes. Awesome.
I will set up a fire glyph. So it does 4d6 fire damage and ongoing 5 fire save ends.
Oh shit.
It's Arcana detection DC is 16, Perception DC is 20.
Oh, they're not gonna notice that shit.
The trigger is just a creature entering the square containing the glyph, which is why I'm putting it right where we traded with them, so like where our tracks would lead away from.
God, that is savage as fuck.
That's awesome.
It's a close burst 3 plus 10 versus reflex.
Very nice. God damn. Alright. So, definitely mark that down. Holy shit.
Yeah, by the way, when I have a house, it's just going to be full of these things.
The fuck?
Well, I can set exceptions to the glyphs and, like, passwords on them.
And that's why she makes a house of stone.
Hey Flora, where's your cereal?
Open up this cereal cabinet. I didn't code that one to you. No, don't.
I can also ward my house to give a -5 to stealth and thievery,
God damn.
That's awesome.
which I'm going to do once it's complete.
And then also, I'm gonna once I get ritual casting, I'm gonna ward the vault in our basement to have the thing like everything in it weighs 10 times as much.
Oh, that's awesome.
Put all of our money in like giant locked iron boxes. Then they try to remove any money. Like, holy shit! How do we move this?
Well, I'll grab one of the men and throw him on the horse.
Yeah. Oh! You're far stronger than you look.
Yeah, I guess let's go. How many horses do we have? I don't remember how many Phantom Steed even summons.
You would have plenty.
It
Okay.
summons 8.
Oh, okay, yeah, then we don't even need to double up.
Oh, okay. In that case, I'll just toss him on one.
Fucking. Nope.
Whoa.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah, what the hell was that? Was that a giant fucking monster?
I only caught like the tiniest corner of it, but it looked massive.
Ignore the curtain.
Ignore the man standing behind the curtain.
It's only because I dropped the token in there.
Yeah, you were on the wrong layer.
But so they get on the horses a little nervously. You can tell they've never seen spectral steeds before. We'll be sure to follow closely. At this point, roll me a nature for who wants to try and map the way through the desert.
We're mapping the way to the desert.
Yep.
And we're rolling.
Nah, dude, if we need to map the way through the desert, I can summon something for this too.
Oh my god. Fuck off, your rituals is spitting out of hand.
Ritual.
I don't remember where it is, but it's a wilderness guide. Velnak, please help me with this. It goes off nature, and mine's not very good.
Well, if you're the one casting it, you would just get the assistance.
Doesn't matter. I'm a monster.
Alright,
Yeah,
so you'd
like
get a
I
+2.
just want him assisting me so I can get the bonus because my nature's kind of crap. Actually, I've got an idea. All right, before I use Wilderness Guide, I use Ancestral Whispers. Which lets me treat a chosen skill as trained.
Ooh,
140. Wilderness Guide is 144. So 244.
Stay, trees are cool.
Where the fuck is my nature?
And everyone thought I gave too much money. This is where it's all going.
I'll roll it with a 10. Alright, so 22. My rituals. The Wilderness Guide lasts for 4 hours, and it, like because they told us where they live, yeah.
Yeah.
So like, I'm telling it there, and it takes us on the shortest, but not necessarily the safest route to our location.
You've literally just done the exact same effect as if I had handed them my two-a-thon road whistle and they had blown on it.
What?
Except I can do that every day.
Yeah. One's
without
free.
a check.
One costs money.
Why didn't you fucking just tell me that?
Because I didn't know what it did. You just started casting a ritual.
It is true.
This takes me a long time to do.
Are you gonna explain what you're doing? Because I mean, I'll interrupt you.
Yes, I would have told you that exactly what I could do and what it was going to do.
Yeah,
You
Flora,
went,
this
the
whistle does
magic
the
item
same
with that,
thing.
and I'd be like, oh, cool, alright, you did that.
I'll walk up to a Cthulhu. Hold out the whistle to him.
Is this?
So, this is a whistle enchanted with the ability to find a path. You have to first, you must clear your mind and consider all of us your associates for it to work properly. And then clearly picture the place that you told us to go earlier in your mind and then blow on it.
Very well.
It'll make it a little bit easier to get there.
So, as he takes it, you could tell him as he's trying to follow your instructions exactly, and he's concentrating probably a lot harder than he should. Finally blows the whistle after what seems like 10 minutes of him very, very intently focused on the task at hand. And you actually see the arrow leading you off into the desert.
See, that isn't too bad, is it?
These items, this item's amazing. How did you use
What? What item? What's going on?
it?
Oh, Rossi just thought they were going to spend, an hour casting a ritual, and, I have an 1800 gold item that does the ritual every day for free.
Oh, nice.
The two-a-thon road whistle, the MVP of Josh's previous game.
Exploration. Bitches.
Flora made that one.
Who's...
Then I would have just suggested that. I don't know what I've made for you. I just make whatever you ask of me.
Yeah, I'm just going to say you made it because it's cooler.
It's impressive. But she makes items like these just from regular materials.
Well, you need magical dust.
Ah, like our Lord used to fuel the Colossus.
Colossus?
Oh, that does sound interesting.
Yes, our city moves.
Oh, that's interesting, alright.
Do your cities not? Is that not how you brought your people here?
No, we brought people over on a boat across the ocean, and then we brought supplies over and gathered the supplies from the surrounding area and built standing structures like most civilizations from where I'm from.
From the Great Waters.
Yes.
How long did it take you to travel those Great Waters?
Couple months.
What?
Many secrets to share with each other. Being able to do that with just mere ships.
Well, our boat that we stole was it was a lot faster than the average boat, so it probably would take a lot longer without it.
Listen, we stole that boat. Don't talk.
I mean, we stole it from a drow slaver. I mean, I think we get mad props from these guys for stealing from slavers. It's street cred, Brad. You gotta flash your cred where you can.
Oh, dude, don't talk about my street cred.
I'm black. Don't talk about my credit.
God damn it, I'm black. You should know this.
It's black credit. It's blooded.
If anybody starts knowing who I am, they're gonna try to fuck me.
All right, I guess let's follow the yellow brick road. Does shy chick get on a horse?
She does. Though
Okay.
she kind of hangs still a little far back though. She's still a lot more trusting than what she seemed before. Hasn't said a word at all though. Keeps very, very far away from Velnak.
Ooh, distrust the dark elf.
Wow.
Well,
This racist bitch.
the two men she knows, there's 3 women.
Ooh, okay, yeah. I mean, I guess that is pretty fair.
I do the appropriate thing. I unwrap my penis.
It's like the way the sand grinds between my joints.
Ugh.
I can clean it out if you want when we camp.
That would be preferable.
Okay.
Otherwise, I might have to start summoning storms just to wash it out.
What about
Yeah.
you? Any sand in your weird area?
I have prestidigitation. I can't really get sand in any weird areas. It just gets cleaned out. So not the answer you were hoping for.
Not the answer he was hoping for.
Alright, so traveling the deserts for the rest of the day very quickly on horse. You put a great amount of distance behind you, and the landmarks that were so prominently there vanish. At this point, you start to see different sharper edges of rocks, some crags that stick out, and some areas that kind of dip down into ravines, even though sand seems to kind of pour in and out and just kind of flows like almost like a stream in itself, just entirely of sand. At another point as well, while going past some of these ravines, the arrow shows it going straight across down the ravine and back up to the other side. You can easily find one of the points where an outcropping of rock crosses over the ravine, but looking underneath, you would swear as if the sands themselves almost had life and was flowing like water. And it seems to be constantly pushing down this cragged ravine, carving deeper and deeper into the earth itself. If anyone were not careful or foolish enough to go down, you could tell they would very likely be swept away and buried under the sands forever. So when you finally get to one of the safer crags, the night finally falls. You could feel the cold sweeping in. Do you set up camp?
I mean, yes.
So you find what looks like a good outcropping. Some of the winds blocked off by the rocky crags that kind of stick up and outright. Gives a nice wall, a protective barrier, as the two men kind of sit down, and you can tell they try and check on Hedja at this point, you can tell she's still a little nervous, but slowly shifts it and down and gets off the horse with their help. You can see that there's now a crossbow in her hands as she kind of keeps a paranoid watch around the camp for the time being. She doesn't seem to bed down until everyone else is finally asleep.
It'd be really weird that she sees two elves staring at her, and
Miss Hedja, you don't need to keep watch. I have an illusion around the camp. Nobody can actually see you.
So let's see. All right. So you start working on that as well, Flora. And
Also, on one hand, I don't need to sleep. On the other, it's better to be safe than sorry, and I've got a million fucking residuum, so I'm gonna set eyes of alarm around the camp.
It's just like overkill. They can't see us, and there's eyes of alarm. I mean, I guess to be fair, if the gnolls start to track us, they would see a bunch of horse tracks and just nothing.
Yeah, and like even that, like, you know, there's giant fucking scorpions and shit out here that might just wander straight into it.
It doesn't prevent tremor sense. It only prevents other like normal senses.
mm-hmm.
They can't see us and they can't hear us.
I don't know. Well, right. They have 3 eyes and they have dark vision.
Ooh, fucking nice.
I just kind of put them in a triangle around the camp.
We'll clean the sand out of Flora's joints using prestidigitation. Now you aren't coarse or rough.
They're technically hidden as if they had rolled a stealth check of 20 plus my level. That's 27.
Alrighty.
Just for anything that might try to see them. And they have my perception of 3 with a +5 bonus.
God damn.
So they have a passive 18 perception with dark vision.
Of all the things Arjun doesn't have, a blanket is definitely one of them.
I'm setting some of these up in my home too. I can make them indefinite if I have a focus for them.
I've got an ink thing that I'm gonna spill and keep people in it if they piss me off.
Alrighty.
If I spill the ink, it creates a hole, like so many feet deep. And
Also, I really want those gnolls to actually show up just because I want to see like a bunch of singed gnolls.
Yeah. Even though they'll definitely be Chris, they might survive. They might.
I mean, yeah, they might, but like I just want to know that it works because it'll be really funny.
Alrighty, so in the in the midst of the night, you do notice small little shapes kind of creasing out of the sand and pushing out. A little bit over time, they start to multiply. There's far more and more until finally you see a hole open up, and from the hole itself, for the first view that you see one very large insect, followed up by another 4.
Are they looking at the camp, or are the insects just going by?
It looks like they're coming out of a hive. And the desert sands themselves buried over the nest hole, and it looks like they just cleaned it out and are coming out since it's cool.
I'm checking to see if they're actually within the radius right now. Because I mean, if we are, they're definitely going to be seeing us. Where the fucking hell's like? This is like the world's worst fucking navigation.
They're annoying
system.
me. Banish vermin! Wait, how small are they?
They're medium sized, so
Okay, I don't do that then.
yeah, they're like the size of dogs.
They're still annoying me though.
Yeah, okay. It barely enshrouds all of us. They can't actually see us.
No.
It's a 10-foot radius. Velnak, you're actually sleeping on top of the candle. Great job.
That's what I like.
Yeah, just sets them on fire.
Sometimes you just need a candle in your ass to really get things going.
Yeah, I mean,
The
as
hot
someone
wax.
who literally just stands there all night, I'd have to just like stand in the middle of the group and hold the candle.
Well then, yeah, be my guest.
It's not like my muscles can get tired from holding it up.
At this point, you start to see more and more filter out as they kind of pour over the sands and part of the dunes. You can see the areas are starting to get filled and more filled as the desert's slowly getting combed over by all these ants.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
You can tell very, very clearly that you have camped probably near a mound of giant ants. So, as the night continues on, as they continue pouring out, they start going in the other direction, and this no longer away from you, but now you can actually see a few drawing closer to the bubble.
Well, Velnak, do something. Don't shoot them.
Yes,
Now throw
maybe
something.
The eyes would probably start waking people up if they got close.
Give me a second. Let me see if we have anything in the great big bag of random ass shit. We have a beast bane. I don't really know if that works. Probably also wouldn't be a great deterrent.
My dear eyes of alarm go off if anything gets too close.
They're going off.
They emit a sound, which I would have just set to like an animal sound, I guess. But I mean, I could have been an asshole and made it a fanfare of trumpets.
Yeah.
It strangely sounds like Darude Sandstorm.
So, at this point, one of the ants actually finally dip in. You could tell that it's clearly just one of the workers. You could tell the more vicious looking ones are clearly the soldiers that are protecting the workers as they go around collecting different bits. You could see what looks like rocks, but as you see some of the rocks going by, it's clearly different humanoids and other creature parts that have been spit on and caused to crystallize in the desert sands to slowly cook and bacterialize and then be brought back for food.
And we're all awake?
Yeah, we all got woke up by the eyes of
alarm
alarm.
would have woken us up.
Argent, maybe some fire? I don't want to get swarmed over.
Fine. Refocus. Fireball.
Fireball!
Oh god! Where do you place it in this crowd of fresh cooked meat?
It's an area 3 burst, so I mean, I guess I want to create the maximum carnage, so right here.
This is from the center here, going out.
Yeah, 3 squares.
God damn.
Out.
Alrighty, so it's the first, and then going out 1, 2, 3, going down 1, 2, 3.
that really how big a fucking Area 3 burst is? Holy shit.
Yeah, it's fucking
Mhm.
enormous, dude. So,
Alright, is Argent making some attack rolls?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 rolls.
Oh my god.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ignore the will. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 22?
21, I think he said.
Alright, there you go.
Nice, 2 crits.
Let me hit the fireball button.
You know, I'm more amazed that nothing missed.
Yeah, those are all versus reflex, by the way, not will. It's just my macro. This is my only versus reflex spell, so.
So only one would be missed.
Well, half damage too, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So and his magnificent in the middle of the night burst of sunlight and fire.
Argent, I meant just like an illusion or something. Holy shit, dude!
Oh my god.
I'm not an evocation wizard. I can't exactly control fire very well. It's all or nothing.
If we wanted a fire, I could have. Wanted a fire, I could have made one. Sorry,
I just figured
my
maybe
accent was
scare him
different
off.
For a moment.
Just a
I don't know why.
fuck off explosion.
So with that, they're all immediately alarmed. And now there's just a whole bunch of crispy ants. As you could just hear almost insane chittering coming from all of them. As some of the workers immediately turn around and start grabbing the bodies of the other dead ants and dragging them in as the soldiers are now freaking out, looking everywhere. Roll initiative.
Yeah, by the way, the bubble disappears when you
I know.
perform an aggressive action. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. You roll initiative. So.
I don't think I edited my initiative. I have a.
I wish they weren't so big.
I know, you could have just.
I really
Told them
wanted
to
to
fuck
banish
off.
vermin. Banish vermin. Its minimum result is 3 days.
Jesus
I'm gonna be like, get the fuck out of here.
Is there a result that's like all time?
The all-time.
These ants have some good ass initiative. Yeah, I bet I just frightened all the fucking slaves.
Oh yeah, all the workers. These guys, I'll just count them. It's not even there because they're grabbing all the bodies and dragging them down into the nest.
I'm talking about them, you know, like we're all like normal and diplomatic. Then you know, I just incinerate all of the ants.
Oh, ants. That's the nice thing about ants. They don't get scared. They get pissed.
No, I'm talking about the slaves we rescued.
Oh, them, yeah. The fucking slaves are horrified. They're like, they're horrified. But actually, Hedja, which I almost forgot to roll initiative for.
Oh, Hedges stepping up. I didn't actually ask her where the fuck she got a crossbow from.
It's the beauty of this. No, nobody asked, so nobody will find out until they ask.
She had it inside of her vagina. It's very roomy.
It was hidden deep in her colon. She got it out every day. Slapped that shit out. Alrighty, and then
It's a hell of a shit.
let me just fucking set something real quick. Lot of tokens to handle. Alrighty.
Yeah, by the way, my eyes don't go away until I go more than 20 squares away from them.
Are we
They're
good?
just
Can I
sitting
go?
there,
So,
constantly on alarm.
alright, so Kesh, you're up. You see these ants. Their little antennae are quickly checking the ground. They smell and see you now and are all starting to move in your direction aggressively. You can see their heads raised up, their pincers held wide.
All right. So I'm going to tumble, move action, shift 6 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Use 1-2 punch on each of them.
Ooh.
So I gotta. It's actually plus 2 more than that, but there's the second attack roll.
Ooh, very fucking nice. Both will land.
Okay, and 2 sneak attacks, 1 for each. And I suppose I gotta roll separate damage too.
Yeah.
Hold on. Because if I hit both targets, I get to do sneak attack to both. And I rolled max for both.
God damn.
And they both take the -2 unless they are immune to fear. Which they might be. I don't know.
For this one, it's actually the first creature you've experienced that doesn't have fear. It's purely an instinctual creature. So the other one dies. You could see all the soldiers, their instinctual programming, literally immediately kill what attacked the nest.
Yep. Alright,
But
well, that's...
You immediately bloody the other one, and the other one just crunches, exploding in a glorious spatter of guts.
Before I dashed out, I totally meant to tell the slave people, like, stay back, hide, like, you know.
Run! Fly, you fools. So this one just going in for the closest target. It's gonna move it, but in now on you, Flora, and just raising up its mouth is going to try and give you with a good acid sting.
Hit me with your best
That's
shot.
versus your AC.
Hit me with its best shot.
Hit me with your best shot. Okay.
Yeah, show me
Uh,
your bobs. So for
Reaction amulet.
Ooh. Alright. So immediately takes the 5 poison damage and it's -2 for the poison. And then you take 5 ongoing acid damage, save ends.
Cool. Oh, man. Ow.
Alright, Velnak.
Neck fell.
Raziel actually looks very scared at this moment. You're not sure why.
Okay.
Which also reminds me, I need to roll something on the side here.
I don't know. Maybe he's fucking spooked of insects. I'm spooked of insects.
He knows that meat will be back on the menu, boys.
So we're just gonna, do our regular 2 strike, 1 on this, 1 on the closest, 1 on the farthest. But I'm gonna make this first one my quarry because he's closest anyways, and I have to. Okay, standard twin strike. No attack modifier, no damage modifier. First one, not the second one. Fight. Wow, 3 damage on that.
Yeah, so you fire both arrows, lances into this creature, and you could tell it was a pretty good hit and solid, but these creatures are fairly hardy compared to the workers that got immediately incinerated. They are far more brittle. Anything else?
Is that right?
What?
That's right. My damage.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that seems about right for Twin Strike.
Yeah, Twin Strike is
It's very dependent on your die roll. He doesn't have a plus in it, though.
Yeah, I was about to say you're missing
That's what
a
I'm saying.
plus 2, so that'd be plus 2.
For some reason, the plus is not there. It's +4.
So that should be another 4 damage.
Where did my plus is gone?
And then, so this Hive Soldier. Gonna try and quickly move in on the Kesh turf.
Mm-hmm.
This Wind Strike doesn't get you decked. So it only have the magic arrow,
So
the magic bow.
he's gonna try and give you a vicious bite on you. 20% AC.
That'll miss.
So comes down to try and bite with his mandibles. You see the acid dripping off and misses as you just quickly shift out of the way as you're going for your leg and just bites into the sand. Hedja
We're doing a test thing.
quickly runs over to the rock
Okay.
and takes aim towards one of the other ants behind you. She's gonna give it a shot from the crossbow. Actually lands the shot.
Crossbow bolts up her ass. Just. Yeah, there's no.
Oh my fucking god. Actually manages to kill it just barely as it penetrates through the chitin of this creature.
Keshi will look over and give her like a thankful nod as she's like dodging these creatures' attacks for her life.
She nods back and tucks behind the rock again. Argent.
Well, I mean, considering the current situation, there isn't much that Argent can do. Except for the song of his people. This song, magic missile, the closest one. 9 whole damage.
So it just launches out. You see this creature kind of flinch from the sudden strike on its side. Kind of looks over to you. You see the antennae quickly sniffing in your direction, just kind of tapping against the sand, and the eyes catch onto you. This one just quickly moving up and trying to give it a bite just the same.
I'll use an interrupt.
Ooh.
Just like you never finish your sentence, the combat can never continue. I'll use an interrupt.
And I shift
This
away.
is the equivalent of shield.
Very, very nice. It sees you getting distance and it just converts its main action just to move and try and keep up with you. Can't even try and bite you, it just follows.
Baited.
This one quickly moving around the other side. Starts climbing over the rock. It's very skillfully. It's just enough to get up to you, and that's it. Thankfully. This one's gonna do the same. Move up to Flora. Your turn, Flora.
Oh, some of these cheeky bastards have decided to go around. I am gonna throw down my battle standard. What's its range? 3 squares. Alright. Throw it down. Yeah.
Alright.
All of these ones pulled towards it.
Ooh.
Which, by the way, its square can be occupied. It's essentially a stick.
Oh, that's awesome.
And they're all slowed.
Very nice.
Brother, what happens if you slow a target twice? So they just slowed.
No, it's just slow.
Okay.
5 acid damage, minor action, Warforged resolve. So I get a saving throw. Alright.
Managed to get the area where the acid's melting through and clean it off and grind some sand into it to nullify it.
The sand is useful.
It's also rough and coarse, but not here. Everything is warm and soft.
Like a bosom.
Yeah, I was quoting the scene from Naboo.
I know, I just wanted to ruin it.
I just wanted to ruin it.
I just wanted it on the record.
First 3, okay. Does anyone have like... You know what? I'm just gonna convert my move into a minor and use that as a favor of the gods on my sheet. Sheet's next.
Sweet.
Oh, very nice. So, after that first round of combat, you feel the ground rumble.
Uh-oh.
We're about to get fucked.
I think we should leave.
We're about to have the biggest sprintathon of our life.
Yeah, is it just a rumble? Nothing happens?
Nothing yet,
Okay.
but you clearly hear it coming from the hole.
I think
I
we
think-
should leave.
If I'd rolled higher on my eyes, tremor sense.
Wow, that's
if
really
you-
too bad.
Yeah, if you had tremor sense, you would have actually known you're probably where you were.
Yeah, we could have left a lot earlier.
Yeah, would have known you were sleeping on that giant ant's nest.
I'll shift and use Hectoring Strike. That's with a +2.
Fucking nice. Just immediately crush into that ant. Like a temporary move banner. There we go. You fucking just obliterate it from behind, just shattering the back end of it as the head just slams down, lifeless. You see the legs twitching as it tries to continue moving forward instinctually.
Okay. It's my turn.
Alright. Hive Soldier. Though slow, it's gonna shuffle in. -2, try and bite on Kesh.
Don't forget it takes 5 poison damage for starting.
That is true. That banner is a great investment.
I love my banner. So stupid.
So,
Yeah, that hits.
and so 9 acid damage, and then ongoing 5.
Okay.
Cash, when we level up, you should get Wicked Advantage.
Alright, Velmax.
Yeah, if you're gonna be slowing people.
Alright, we should leave.
It's at the start of every single one of my turns until the banner's... all enemies in its zone get slowed and pulled.
That'll be my next feat.
Well, seems that we need to get the fuck out of here.
We don't have time to summon those horses. We'll never outrun them. Especially with the slaves. Ex-slaves, sorry.
They
good
don't.
thing
They can't understand.
Yeah, they have no idea.
Oh,
what you're saying.
I have no idea. So
They're looking
I
scared
could
shitless.
shoot. I could shoot one in the leg and we can flee.
That's seriously fucked up.
Nah. I mean,
Yeah, don't worry. I have a reasonable idea.
so just keep fighting the ants.
No, we run.
Ooh. So, we're going to, as a squad, shift this way out of that guy's combat zonius,
Alright.
and I assume we're going backwards.
Yeah, we're going away from the ant exit point.
All right.
And I will use my next drop my standard. That's right, because the shift is the movement,
Yeah, you would just
and then the shift is my movement action, and then I would full,
drop your main action to a movement.
and then I'm doing the full
6.
full run here.
Yeah, full speed.
I'm gonna tell all of them to follow Velmac telepathically. The Black Wolf.
So they both look at each other and they just nod and start
This
running.
this guy is about to be like, holy shit, this is one. As that panther tears past him
Yeah, he like jumps for a moment and realizing Raziel's running beside him for a brief moment and going by.
and then he slaps him on the ass with his noodle.
Oh!
Ugh,
Takes
no,
part of his butt cheek with him because there's teeth on that.
Absolutely, he eats it as he runs.
God.
That'd be terrifying.
So, the other soldier is gonna start moving on in.
Good, Anakin. Good. Get closer.
So you could see that he starts clinging to the rock and climbs right around it with ease to try and snap at you, Kish.
Okay. That'll hit.
He's getting really good fucking rolls today. For 8 damage. Just you already got the ongoing, so.
Okay.
At this point, Hedja, here's you call that out, Argent. She loads up the crossbow one more time. Gonna give another shot. She'll actually land it. And give another 9 to the other one. She manages to fire one more crossbow and to make it flinch for a moment to recoil, and then starts breaking off to follow everyone else. Argent.
Okay. First for my main action, I'm gonna tell all of these thoughts to be gone. Beguiling strands on all of them. 1, 2, 3,
God.
4. Be gone, thoughts.
You have a magic weapon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta roll those crit, boys.
Oh my god, I now have to go find staff. Yeah, there it is. Oh boy, you ready for this extra damage?
Oh, I'm ready.
Oh, 10. Oh wow, I rolled really well.
Yeah, that thought power. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see for each of these guys. As this one's actually dead as it skids across the sand, and the others take the blast of light.
Then I'm gonna start running.
All right.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then as a minor action, I'm gonna activate the Prison of Salcaris.
Oh God.
It doesn't do anything this turn. A ghost is now on Argent's shoulder.
All right.
It's a meme, don't worry about it.
So this one's gonna just immediately starts charging back in towards you, Flora.
Okay, friendly reminder, it is slowed.
All right, that's right. So from there, 1, 2, 3, here we get about there, and then just finish its movement up to you. And this one, well, actually, I have to do the same to get to you, Kish, and you won't be able to do much. Now, Flora.
Alright, since we're running, I standard pick up my standard.
All right.
An older character might would have flipped this thing off as she just runs away.
Alright, so it's gonna try and give you a mean-ass bite.
Also, because my turn started, both of them were pulled towards the standard,
Alright, so...
and they get slowed again.
Alright, put that...
Because that happens at the start of my turn.
So, just that would still connect with you, though.
I don't care.
And 7 acid damage and ongoing 5.
Wait. That's exactly how I had in temper.
Alrighty, and now the sound of rumbling is getting louder. It sounded like rain at first, but now it sounds like footfalls, like a crowd of people running.
Oh shit. Alright, well, minor action, I'm gonna use my encounter power to end one condition that a save can end.
Nice.
And let's see, I guess I will just shift and then move.
Alright. Let me get back to Velnek.
Oh, split the head! Getting that double move. I'm not gonna move my token because it would just put me off the map.
Alrighty.
But it's safe to say that him and Raziel are gone.
Yeah, the two guys are keeping up with you. And at this point, really, there's going to be an interesting endeavor as everyone's able to kind of outpace the ants for a bit of time. You can see the 3 behind you; they're injured and still giving chase. And
Do I know if they can sense via tremor, or if they're actually seeing us?
You would have to roll nature.
Argent will roll the first nature check of Argent's life. Let's see, nature.
Do you need a nature check?
24.
All right, you know these guys are going to go off by smell. Now that now that they've attacked you, that their scent and pheromones are going to be all over you, and they're going to be charging after you for a while.
Okay. Well, that gets rid of Argent's first plan.
Prestidigitation.
I mean, I don't know exactly how well that would work, but I mean, I can try that.
You would need a moment to do so first.
I mean, we're running. What type of an action is prestidigitation? Oh, it's standard. Okay, I'd have to slow myself down.
Mm-hmm. Which at that
Alright,
point they would catch up.
I action point.
All right, so you action point, clean yourself off.
Well, action point. I mean, that won't help. All that'll do is make them not chase me.
Mm-hmm.
So instead, can I smell their pheromone?
For you, no. This is kind of like a full-on animalistic thing, like how a dog or Raziel could smell something, but you would definitely not catch it. This is more of a pheromone that an ant would catch with their antenna.
Well, I'm going to take the silk rope from my bag and scent the silk rope with the absolute strongest and most awful smell I can think of, and then drop it behind me.
Alright, so it's an admiral of 10. Does anyone else do anything for 2 more rounds? Before I have you do endurance checks.
I will drop my 4-sided caltrop to do an area 1 burst that slows creatures who enter the zone.
Ooh, very nice. So the closest 2 actually drop back quite a bit, and the other one catches up with that. And you can see it puts a good amount of distance between you and them.
Oh yeah.
I make a mental note to just start putting glyphs of warding when it leaping.
Yeah, that way somebody goes to take a dump.
I can put exceptions on it.
It's just the little term to dropping a bomb.
Exceptions can include named individual.
Oh god. So, if no one else will do anything else within 2 turns,
Can I try the beast bane that we have?
sure. How you want to use it? Or are you just gonna light it?
I'm just gonna light it and throw it.
All right. So you let it, throw it. So since you did the rope trick, and that will be your turn. 2 turns on that. You do see they avoid it. They start giving it a pretty wide berth. At this point, which is actually good because that provides a good area of cover for you to get good time and distance. Everyone, roll me an endurance check. As at this point, you will see by the end of the 2 turns, pouring forth from the hole.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Here we go. I haven't rolled an endurance.
I was gonna say, what's the endurance check even for?
For you, you don't have to roll one for it.
Oh boy.
You don't breathe. So you have nothing to exhaust your muscles. You could just do this shit all day.
I'm okay, I guess.
I don't think I'm okay.
Alright. So, Argent...
We'll keep Argent on pace.
You start feeling the sting in your lungs. The exhaustion is...
I do need to roll myself D20 saves for those rounds. Alright, the first one's
so you're just gonna take 2 damage from pushing yourself, Argent. You kind of strain your leg as you're running.
We are running in the dark too, but you guys can probably see.
I see in low light, so I mean I can see kind of well.
Yeah, and then the desert, the moon.
See everything.
The moon would bounce off the white bleach sands pretty easily. So.
Oh, okay.
It's just as long as you're not like diving into a cave or something, because since there's nothing here to kind of take away the light, it's just kind of like mood lighting. So you would be able to see just fine too, Kesh.
Cool.
And so at this point, you do see them kind of part as they get to the Beastbane's Argent. So it's made a brief roadblock. I just need one more set of endurance checks.
Oh, Argent did slightly worse. It's thematic.
Got it.
Fuck off. Why is everybody else so much better than me? I'm calling the police.
That reminds me, I need to make checks on all of these guys as well. So I read them twice. So they managed. They have to loosen up after they had a moment to rest and start get moving, as it's still pretty cold out. Once they do, they immediately start picking up the pace. The other one beside you, Argent, quickly like tucks an arm under yours and starts trying to pick up the pace with you to make up the difference.
Oh, that's so nice of them. They don't want me to get eaten by ants. How nice.
Which at this point, you're able to finally put enough distance. You run for what feels like a good 20 minutes before finally the ants break off and get out of sight.
Fuck deserts.
Which, after this point of finally getting to a safe distance, you could see the three slaves, Cthulhu, Zardan, and Hedja, all just immediately fall down in the sand, sweating, panting, completely exhausted from just having to run a 20-minute marathon that they were not expecting to get away from the ants. And you can all feel the burn in your legs and your lungs as you were forced to run through the frigid, cold air of the desert.
That fireball sure was spectacular.
Yes, it was. I'm gonna do the customary water bowl for everybody to get a drink.
Like a dog, everybody line up.
Lap it up.
The other three just take the deepest of drinks. It's nice to run free, but not like that.
It happens every once in a while. You never get used to it.
At least we didn't have to run in the heat.
That's true. I'm pretty sure the sands would burn the skin right off our feet.
How long into our rest was the antscapade?
So the Antscapade, the 4 hours, I would say about 3.
Ah,
We still have to do the full 8 hours, don't we? Because the slaves.
Yep.
yeah.
I'm just gonna refer to them as that. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Alright. That's pretty much what they technically are still until they get back home.
Yeah. So, yeah, even if it was 4 hours, we'd still have to bed down for them, wouldn't we?
Mm-hmm. They're not as mobile as the elf team.
Well, I'm gonna clean everybody off and get the ant pheromones off of us.
But you...
Thank you, Argent.
That's what I do now, apparently.
So... You clean them off and...
I was eager for a battle, but against mindless creatures like that, there's no fun in it.
Also, being swarmed doesn't seem quite as entertaining.
It's my school's speciality to be swarmed, but I also don't like being eaten alive, so I have a little bit of a conflict with that particular part.
Mm-hmm.
So... As you finish getting cleaned up, Hedge looks to you very seriously, Keshi. And you could tell she doesn't care the fact that most of her modesty is covered. Well, she...
Titty?
Yeah. She,
I
puts...
have extra clothes. Can I give her some clothes?
Yeah.
You give Dobby
They-
sock.
They probably don't fit her very well because they're very large in the chest region, because muscly and, you know.
Yes, muscles. That's what they are.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
But
Chest muscles.
I wouldn't. I mean, since it's nighttime now, I'm not gonna let her freeze in the heat. You know,
Mhm.
probably not as big of a deal, but
Oh yeah. But she will put a hand on your shoulder. Unfortunately, not sure what she says, but just a very simple and very stern look to use the silverfunds.
I'm gonna just assume it's some kind of thank you, and I will just give her like a nod and, you know, probably copy the gesture. Just,
Shit.
you know,
She gives
unsure of how to communicate.
She gives a wide smile and goes to lay down in the sands for the night.
Thank you for not letting me be eaten by ants.
Yes.
No problem.
So, after getting the rest of the night to finish up sleeping and not having to worry about the ants, as the morning sun rolls over the desert, you can feel the heat already starting to bake the air. You can see in the distance from the last night's endeavor on the hill, the ants that are still roaming the hills are slowly pouring in as the heat starts to pick up, and the massive hole that opened up from where they were gets quickly covered over. At this point, you can go ahead and roll for your super horses for her.
I'd like to assist.
Huh?
What is the DC to add a plus to the assistance?
Arcana. Or
Like
I'm
what's
pretty
like-
sure there's no DC. It's just if you're trained, you're doing the aid another.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, so I don't have to roll
It's
anything.
+2.
Yeah, so then +2.
Alright.
I thought it was like another nature check.
It's always a bonus.
Yes, turbo.
Alright.
Turbo horses.
Damn.
So they practically fly across the desert.
Admittedly, I didn't need the +2 for that. It still would have been.
Yeah. It was Arjun's
It helps
blessing.
with spirit.
But it's still good. They can move on water as if it was solid ground.
So
Well, not much of that out here.
quicksand.
But if quicksand happens upon us,
I mean, sand's kind of shifty. I feel like that would.
Well, I mean, yeah, we've got the ignore difficulty.
And we've got a speed of fucking 15.
whew.
God damn. So
Elf horse nitrous.
as you all get in the horses, you activate the nitros in them. The legs retract and you go flying off into the sky towards just you.
Yeah,
It's
that would be we got a
working.
40 when they can actually fly.
You instead of getting horses, you get pod racers.
Now this is pod racing.
Oh god. So you actually make it to your destination very, very quickly.
Holy shit.
It seems to be towards the end of the day, but with the enduring elements and the horses moving so fast, it's just a cool breeze as you see everything passing by. As you were making your travel throughout the day, you do remember, though, distinctly seeing one very large shape roaming the desert.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about very large shapes. I'm gonna vote a no-go, considering we have a much more interesting thing to attend to.
Alrighty.
unless anybody else is gonna attempt to overrule Argent's no-go.
I'm pretty not fit to go deal with a large shape.
Well, Josh, you just said we just saw it off in the distance, right? It's not in our path, or is it?
No, it's not in your path at all, but it's pretty far out there. Like one of the
Oh, yeah.
it looks almost like a mirage, but you can tell distinctly, since there's no heat waves kind of changing it, it's clearly there.
Just something to take note of,
Mm-hmm.
that there are gigantic creatures roaming this wasteland. So what was our destination that we have reached? The crags they wanted dropped off at?
Yep. As you stop at one of these crag tops, you see what looks like a very, very small hut. Modestly built, different pieces of stone shaped from the crag and placed up. Very weather beaten, but clearly used regularly. You can see a well of fresh water ready to be used. The ropes clearly been recently replaced. You do see a few other pieces that look like were crop areas that were grown, and somebody who would probably stay here regularly or for short periods of time. If you want to try and identify some of these plants, you can go ahead for a nature or even a history check.
Zardan, what is this place?
We grow different healing herbs here. Only the arid desert is more welcoming of the very vicious root systems. They would crack the stone of the Colossus, so we grow them here in the crags as We basically, very simply named of rock biters.
Hmm.
Very
Do you use this place as some sort of refuge for travelers, or?
On occasion, for when we finish collecting the herbs, a great poultice for flyers.
Are you going to be safe here, or are you going to travel further?
We should be safe at this hut. These lands are guarded, and one of our tribes groups should be by quickly once we send out the signal. At this point,
Condor calls for aid!
And Rohan shall answer.
at this point, you see him go inside the small, modest-looking little hut. It's only about 15 feet on floor space, so 3 by 3. But in the middle, there's a very distinct-looking orb, and which, at this point, he turns part of the table, and you can see the orb kind of shift in color, almost as if it were changing, kind of like a signal from what you would see in a fire, but through arcane magic of the orb. At this point, Hedja, seeing that is in a safer area, she turns to you, Kesh, and goes to hand you the crossbow.
I'll take it, and I'll tell her something telepathically. As like a goodbye.
She gives you a very wide smile. As she puts her hand on your shoulder one last time, she just gives you one last message of kill as many of them as you can.
Keshi grins and nods.
At this point, she goes to head inside the hut to...
The bitch speaks common.
She was speaking back in telepathy.
Oh man. Too late, I already heard her. She knows I was gonna shoot them in the leg!
Yeah. Raziel looks to you, is like, motherfucker, please.
Bitch, please.
We have to end them before they tell the others!
Oh, God.
Wait, so we aren't going with them?
Isildur!
I wanted to go see the Colossus.
Well, perhaps our actions so far will speak volumes in setting up good relations with them, but I believe we should see to our business first.
Ain't nothing stopping you from coming back.
We will see them again. You can be sure of this.
Yeah. You clearly know of this place.
Sand
now.
raiders get to them.
So do people always respond when you turn the table like that and the light changes colors?
Yes, they will usually, in dire emergencies, will bring the city to the people if there's a large enough group, but they'll probably send riders out to collect us.
Oh. Good, because I plan to visit once we're done.
I'll gladly welcome you. I'll be more than happy to show you around myself.
Alright, I guess you three take care of yourselves.
And again, if you and your people are tired of living in fear of these creatures' raids, now is the time.
We'll see if we can convince one of them to aid you, but it will be very difficult either way.
was going to tell them where we lived, but then I realized that I don't know exactly how happy they would be if a gigantic walking city showed up and they all spoke Draconic. They'd be like, excuse me, please leave. And they'd be like,
I'm sure, Sergeant, remember, we can send word back. I'm sure Miss Rituals over there knows the sending ritual.
I do.
I do! She chimes up perfectly. See.
we can handle that when we come back to visit them.
Very well.
Alrighty. So they thank you one more time, and they if you ever find yourself at one of these places again, turn the center dials until it at least is green. They will know there's a small party that needs to be retrieved here.
Alright then.
The desert winds speed you.
You too.
Let's move along.
We have our turbo horse. We have our turbo. It's like the end of the night. We don't have NASCAR horses waiting outside. The NASCAR horses are out of fuel.
They're pretty juiced
We
out.
should get more. We need more NASCAR horse.
But you made quite excellent time, though.
We must travel.
I guess we can just sleep in here for the night. I mean, it's a building. It's new. It probably doesn't have ants in it.
That too.
But we just said our goodbyes. Think of how awkward that would be. We should camp somewhere else.
You can probably get.
Goodbye! No, get out of here. I'm trying to fucking sleep.
Trying to catch a bitch on the rebound, man. Come on.
Get the fuck out of here. I'm trying. My dick needs at least 8 hours of sleep a day.
Dick needs sleep.
Absolutely, it strikes like a python.
God damn.
What the fuck?
Metal Gear.
Metal Gear Nukes launch.
So, fairly easy. Get some distance towards your desired location. You know of the outpost spoken of among the crags, and Cthulhu and the others were able to point you in the right direction to where you would find this entrance. Using
Can you point me towards the nukes?
yes. So, quickly moving out in that direction, you're able to find a more safer location. Though it's fairly rocky, these rocks have been quite worn down from the desert winds and sand blowing over them. At the middle of the night, you do hear a strange shuffling noise as you're kind of setting up camp. And from over the mountain crags, not the mountain crag, the rocky crags, you do end up seeing a very strange sight. It is another insect, fairly large in size to that of a horse,
Oh god.
but it has a saddle.
Oh no. What's in the saddle, Josh?
Nothing. It's just a wandering beetle with a saddle.
Is it hostile?
How far away is it?
It's probably a good 40 feet away. It seems to just be picking through the rocks. You see it occasionally picking up this strange red-looking stone and then kind of crushing it between its mandibles and then slowly eating it.
Belknap, you should try to ride it.
That
I,
seems like an awful idea that both of you have suggested to me.
it has a saddle, Velnak.
I have thought long and hard about this, and I've decided.
Oh my god, it's like the anglerfish of beetles. Its saddle is actually like its fucking mouth.
That would be fucking devious. Belknap, you should try it.
Delicious. Yeah, doesn't seem hostile towards you at all. It's almost like as if like a grazing horse or cow was there, just eating.
Josh,
The beetle's saddle calls for aid.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna walk up to this thing.
Rohan will answer.
Rohan will watch Belknap get eaten. Here we go.
You
So
are
I want to
skilled.
first nature this just to see what the fuck it is.
Alright, go ahead.
And if it's a saddle mouth bug,
Alright,
I would like to know.
so for
pretty legit.
for this, you definitely know that this is pretty much just a very rare form of beetle. Some are very rarely trained. You've seen only 2 other of these in bazaars, and you know that the riders can fly with them. They're very heavily armored. They're very sturdy. What?
But there's no rider.
Exactly. There's no rider.
Bro.
They can fly, though only up to.
I have a suggestion.
Yeah.
If there is no rider, then we should kill it.
Oh my god.
I will resurrect it. I will resurrect it, and then I can make it even bigger, and it can carry all of us.
Jesus Christ. This is for you.
Sure. Have your
Aquarium.
have your powers truly grown so? That is quite a feat.
I said I quarry it!
No.
Begin the hunt.
It's a defense.
Begin the hunt!
No.
I suppose it could also just work if you make friends with the creature. We don't have to kill it.
Come
Well-
on, Velnak.
Begin!
The horse beetle. Do not begin the hunt on the horse beetle. This is animal cruelty.
You try giving them something alive, and they just immediately fucking kill it. All right, go ahead, roll your attack.
I'm gonna either get eaten by it, or I'm gonna walk up to it instead.
Okay. That's what
I
I
was
thought.
about to say, like, I'm not gonna stop you guys. Just go ahead. Hey, give it your best shot.
Yeah, I'm gonna attempt to approach Beetle Horse.
All right. Yeah. Doesn't even move. It just sits there and continues to eat.
Alright, do I ship myself now?
I want to very calmly approach it from the front.
I'm gonna leave Raziel back, because I fear that would probably just make it try to kill me. So,
You do see Raziel kind of hissing at it.
Alright, so it's non-hostile, right?
Yeah, it's not even moving or flinching at the fact of your approach.
Alright, just for a laugh, I'm gonna cast Beast Growth on it now.
no, don't. I'm trying to. I'm
Don't
trying to.
prank.
Don't prank us.
Top 10 Warforged pranks. Don't try at home.
Don't try
I mean,
it
it
home.
doesn't change its stats, all it does is make it bigger.
So you put
What
your,
if it steps on me now?
you put your hand on it. You see the size of it growing and growing and growing, and then as it's kind of fidgeting with some of the rocks, you see it kind of get stuck for a moment, pull out a huge chunk of rock, and then go right back to eating it.
It really gives 0 fucks.
Would I have to roll nature
I suppose that worked pretty well.
to try to, I don't know.
It will be like this for about 8 hours.
nature to try to, I don't know.
To try and
Alright.
figure out how to command it.
Yeah.
All right.
Set a saddle on this thing. That's the 27. Come on, man. Love me.
Love me, say that you love me.
All right. So you get up on it. Its reins are a little awkward at first, but you kind of give it a tug. You see it kind of lean. It doesn't really open up its wings at all, but you kind of get a small inkling of how you could probably do that by snapping the reins or so. But it seems pretty straightforward, though. You can't really figure out any of the vocal commands.
The guy didn't even leave like a piece of paper on it. Like, what a bitch.
This is how my bug works. Please treat it well. Feed it twice a day.
I got assassinated by desert ants.
I ran into some desert ants and they took my pants.
Seems like it's a legitimate problem, man.
Well, seeing as I don't know any vocal commands, I feel like those are very... Would I have past knowledge from being in bazaars? Just...
For some of these, in passing, go ahead and roll me history.
Oh no.
Come on, Valnak, I believe in you.
I don't believe in the history of Elnac. That's an intelligence check.
No. I believe in the See, believe in the me that believes in you.
Even you.
So, it's hard to remember any of the words, especially for how long ago it was. But you do remember the one when they would occasionally show off in the bazaar for the times that you were there. It was very distinctly cliff for them to take off.
Oh, I'm not doing that.
Okay, look, I have an idea. Give me half an hour. I can tune to it and summon it later.
Okay.
And wait till we're in the town or something when we have time to mess around with it.
Yeah, that seems legit. Mainly because the only thing I know is how to make it go up, and unsure on how to go down.
Alright.
Okay. It's to a single non-hostile creature, and it's non-hostile, so I speed cast Steed Stuff
Alright.
to attune myself to this thing so I can summon it later.
So, as you do and kind of lay your hands on this beetle, you just kind of hear very strange grunt, and it kind of pushes you over, not aggressively, but just kind of like it looked in your direction.
Pizza is aggressive. You gonna kill it now, Valnak? And I mean,
Is it aggressive now?
No, just looking at you as if like a creature would do. Like, what are you doing?
No, I mean, I'm not gonna be on it anymore. Seems as I don't wish to be on it.
Alright, so you hop off. There's no real issue between you and the...
And Bug Sama.
Yeah. It's actually rather calm.
Nice. Oh,
Wait, did it stop me from doing the ritual?
It's just out of pure instinct from seeing you get close like that. But you could tell it wasn't aggressive, it was just like bumping into you.
Okay. Look, I'm clearly in the way in front of it. Try again.
Alright.
I'm gonna loot my
So,
dead parents in this game.
in the midst of this ritual, it still goes off, But while you laid out the residium for it to start working, you see it clearly eat like a piece of residium.
It's a residium hunting bug. That's what it was eating before. It's fucking cool.
Okay. How much of my residium does it eat?
Only a D100.
Only a D100.
Is a small bite. Is a small bite. Okay, maybe it was a big bite.
Oh my ass. That just doubled the fucking cost.
as it shoves like part of its...
That's me! That's me! I put the residium in front of it as I was trying to cast the ritual, and I just went, ooh, and just knocked me over. As it went.
Yeah. So...
I'll just put it where it can't see.
Yeah. You see it's... You see it look at you for a moment when the bag is open, and then shove its face in, and just there's a huge hunk of fucking residium in its mouth now. You hear the slow grinding.
It literally eats money.
But now you can get the spell off and connect with it. It's clearly not aggressive, but you get the inkling of that's why it knocked you over last time, of that it was kind of trying to eye the residium that you had before.
Alright.
Well, now in the future I can summon it to me with the moment's thought.
You can see it going in for a second bite in your bag.
I put my bag in my actual bag. Because I keep my residium in my haversack.
Beef residium, woman.
Right. Close that off and put it away in the actual bag.
You see it hobbling around a little bit, like it's kind of sniffing the ground in a way, and then like.
And I think for a moment, and I pull out like a 10 GP of residium, like rock, kind of hold it out to it.
So, it kind of rears up a little. You see a large maw of very, very sharp teeth followed up behind it by what looks like very tough, flat, almost like insect-like mandibles going into the mouth, and then there's more teeth behind that before it kind of pulls the residium off your hand. What feels a little rough, but with just kind of like bristles, kind of sweeps it off your hand, but it leaves a kind of a very gross, slimy coat over your palm.
It seems friendly enough.
But with that, you definitely know that this creature now eats residium, which, Vilnak, you can now decipher. This is probably why there's not a lot from what you've seen in your travels. This would be a very expensive creature to keep.
I mean, eating people.
Metal Gear is people.
Alright. So, after setting the creature to be able to be summoned to you, just kind of shuffles around, keeps going through the crags. You see it for a good while, biting rock after rock. Yeah, fly overhead, nuke bomb. But seems to sit there for a good while, kind of breaking into the different crags and shattering out different red rocks and just breaking them down quickly and slurping up whatever's left. Mostly, maybe at the most, leaving just a tiny bit of dust that it probably just couldn't get. After good few minutes, it finally lays down. Seems to be completely still as the legs kind of just cling very tightly to an open rock crag. Just sits there, almost like it's sunning itself. Do any of you move out now that you can just call this a strange
Giant beetle.
Yeah, a strange giant beetle to yourself at any point?
I guess let's go.
We're getting out of here. We gotta keep
Goodbye,
going.
strange beetle.
You can see Raziel's still perturbed by it, but Malnak, you also know that cats just don't like insects.
I mean, I don't even like insects. So, you know.
Yeah, imagine male drow would have a insectophobia.
I mean, I've already got one undead insect.
It's true.
We could have just killed it and rode it. Begin the hunt!
Oh my god.
No beginning the hunt.
It's heavily armored. Begin the hunt!
Alright. So, carrying forth with the day, you can go ahead and roll for your spectral mounts.
I assist.
Now that a good 75 gold's worth of your residium has been slurped down. Well, 85.
And, I'm summoning mounts again.
That's what we're doing. I'm assisting you.
That was a terrible roll.
Well, at least the horses lost the premium nitrous, but at least we still got the deluxe.
Yeah. Speed
super
12,
boost.
ignore difficult terrain.
At least there's
Lost
speed 12.
nitrous.
You still have a V8, but it's not a nitro injection.
Horses are like sickly. Please, feed us. We're not actual ghosts. Shut up, horses.
Knock out one local.
Carrying forth through the travel of the day, though. In the distance, you see the same large creature, but it's heading in the same direction you are. It's closer than before. Still of what seems to very clearly seems to be of a giant's height.
It's moving fast.
Do we know what it is yet, or are we just still seeing it really far away?
Still really far away, but it's very, very clearly a giant. The height alone, from the distance, you can easily discern that much.
At this rate, it's down to either now or later when we encounter this creature. It seems persistently on the same path as us.
I mean, you can go and try to talk to it. Maybe it's friendly?
I'm not opposed to talking to it, but I'm not going to do so alone.
I didn't say we wouldn't go over there with you.
Yeah, go over there and talk to it.
Well,
Anybody else also think we should go talk to the giant? I like to hear the crowd opinion.
Velnak, you're a naked man in the desert.
Talk about my naked manness.
Belknack, every time you don't respond, you feel yourself losing more clothes.
Ooh.
I
That's hot.
feel
Oh,
if
okay.
this creature is amiable, we could use it to perhaps strike at this camp that we know is in our path.
We're talking about Bug Senpai.
No.
We're talking about giant coon.
Giant coon.
It's a giant
Ah.
coon.
I don't know about this giant coon. Seems kind of spooky.
You say that about all the blacks we meet.
Don't you dare talk about those blacks. Are you some kind of racist?
No.
I don't know. I saw the hate in your eyes when you said that.
Shh, quiet, Velnak.
You know what, sir? What's in the back of the vehicle?
Not this again.
It's just children, sir.
Oh, carry on.
Oh, fuck.
What? I mean, he's a father. And everything's as sinister as you have to think it is.
Yes. So, you wait for it to get closer?
Oh, it's actually coming towards us?
Oh god, it's controller. Just make us invisible. Do it.
I mean, you know, you might as well talk to it. I mean, what's the worst that could happen?
Oh no.
Don't worry, it's probably not immune to being knocked out. Even though it'd probably step 3 times and cover the distance we covered it.
Alright.
I'm fine with talking to it.
I guess talk to it.
Alright. So, as it gets closer and closer, you can see it's partially covered in armor, but it seems just intent on running. You do see on the back that it looks like very colorful flags, as well as somebody writing on its back.
Do I recognize the flags?
For this, roll me history.
I will look too, because my history is really good.
Holy shit.
Fuck. So, you recognize this as one of the tribe symbols that were close to the Queen of Sacrifice.
He's from the fort camps from near the Queen, I think.
Particularly
What?
Zobgron.
Oh,
fuck.
Zobron. Ooh, no. We are not talking to this man.
Oh, fuck. We've made a grave error.
Brave error.
But as it draws
Skip.
closer, roll me a perception.
Oh no.
Perceptions. Perceptions. Nope, wrong thing. I'm sorry.
Yeah, everyone looking at him. Perception.
I'm
There
very.
you go.
Alright, cool. It's not an
You
orc,
want? You
it's
can
a
count
lizard.
it as a 12.
Oh, that is a double no.
Shit.
U-turn. Abort mission.
You
Hope it didn't see us.
turn.
But think of this. If we don't deal with this now, we'll have to deal with it when we reach the camp. I'm sure that's its destination. Perhaps we could deal a crippling blow to their forces if we strike now.
How does everybody else feel about this? Argent's feeling
We could set up an ambush.
a slight 6 to a low 7.
Yeah, how long do we have till he gets to it?
Oh, well, at a giant's sprinting pace, because it seems intent on traveling. It doesn't seem aggressive. It doesn't seem in an attack posture. But, probably a couple minutes at most. About 3, 4.
It's at the rate it's going, we either ambush it or talk to it and hope for the best. But it'll most likely, if it's at all aligned to the lizard people, it's gonna attack us.
Yeah.
But Alright, brief flashback to the lore that we acquired earlier. So these people that were going after the snake niggas, they are... That was no hard R in there.
Well,
We don't hard R here.
even on my Twitch channel, there's no
especially
one
not when
viewing
you
it to know.
Excellent. So these lizard people that are here,
Mm-hmm.
they are like the illegal offshoot of the official Children of the Lizard people.
Correct. They're the bastard's bastard.
Okay, so would they actually be supported by a tribe that was so close to the Queen of Sacrifice?
No.
Yeah, so they might be here to hunt them down too.
Oh, okay. That wasn't very clear. I didn't know that they were like...
They're
Not.
pretty well despised still.
This was explained by Bajik that like the bastards of the lizards are very despised and like hated.
Well, then
Basically the offshoot cunts.
I guess we should talk to this creature.
They might still hate us because of this off-ground affiliation, but
Yeah, we don't have many friends there, but we have a common enemy, it seems.
they might be down to clown. Yeah. Okay, with this renewed burst of information, I am for making contact.
Alright.
Any other objections?
We're still gonna follow this spooky lizard thing.
Okay. So,
Yeah,
I.
this is something I'll ask later.
Okay. So, as he gets closer, you can hear the stomps on the sand. Once you finally get within distance of this large giant with the lizard riding on his back. Excuse me. You see him
Oh shit.
as he kind of peers down, kind of regally dressed himself with a beautiful gold mask, a very deep blue scaly skin. He calls down to you, and Puck would quickly translate this into your ear, Argent. Am I close to the Pearled City? Is Galena not far from here?
Galena was the place that the other guys referred to getting the slaves from, right?
Basically, that you would easily guess that this is the city you're heading to.
Well, the place that contains the tribe that we're trying to destroy.
Mm-hmm.
Puck, tell me how to say, we are heading there too. Do you seek to destroy it?
At that, he chuckles. No, it's a great location for slaves from the Colossus City.
Wow, this is... I'm using I forgot I can just use the telepathy helmet that I have. I can transmit to everybody within range that I want to, so I'll just tell everybody else what he's saying.
What? At this point, he gets a... Tell me, do you have water?
If you don't plan to steal it from me, I have plenty to share.
I don't need to steal. At this point, he reaches down, he opens up a bag, pulls out what looks like different gems and rocks of gold. I can easily pay you in offerings for when you get to the city, so you can actually get some better pieces to adorn yourself.
I mean, I'm not going to turn down free money. certainly show me what your container for water is, and I'll happily fill it for you.
At this point, he kind of taps what looks like a you would assume what would probably be the Ryder Crop version of a mace on the giant's head. He reaches over, pulls out what looks like a giant, like, hollowed out animal skin, and then opens up the top that's like the size of a barrel.
Jesus Christ.
This might take a little while.
You need to set it on the ground. I'm not exactly tall enough.
Oh, very good. At this point, the giant kind of leans down, sits down the edge of the barrel, and then kind of shuffles the animal skin so it could be filled up.
Alright, decanter of endless water. Geyser mode, I'm just gonna fill it up real fucking quick.
So, after he sees it filled up and topped off, some of it spilling out. Ah, impressive magics you have. Tell me, do you have a master? Are you one of Galena's children?
I am my own master?
Ah, one of Galena's bastards, then.
I'm not going to correct him since I have no idea what he's saying.
Thank you. And repayment for the fine drink for my fine steed. And throws down a bag of 200 gold.
I mean, I'll take it. It's free 200 gold.
At this point, the giant picks it up, takes a very long swig, tucks it back at his side, turns and goes to before he starts running. The lizard man looks down to you and is like, maybe I'll see you back there in the slave markets. Maybe I'll buy you one.
Oh, okay. I thought he was implying he was going to buy me as a slave.
And at this point, the giant goes back into full breakneck speed, running towards the city.
He's got places to go.
Well, that went a lot better than I thought it would.
Yes. We're not dead.
We
That's
did
always a plus.
glean some extra information as well, knowing that they have such a profound slave trade there. Perhaps we can use that to our advantage as well. Inciting some slaves.
We must liberate the slaves!
I'm more surprised at that amount of fucking money that guy had. He didn't have a decanter of endless water.
Not all magical items are privy.
Yeah. Well, you know how magic items go in their culture. You have to usually give something of equal value. Usually blood.
Or a, couple of slaves. I guess
Yeah.
let's continue to the city.
Alright.
So the lizard people lived in the temple, and the city is just like next to the temple, where they're selling all the slaves.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's as far as you're able to discern.
Just making sure I'm following what's going on here so far.
It's basically like a stolen temple as they built their slave trade and city on the outside of it.
Okay.
But the city with the slaves in it is what they said was going to prevent us access to like getting to the snake god lady.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's mountain crags with razor sharp rocks where, unless you want to try and get through the outpost where the guards are. But But then,
we'd have to brave the crags, is what you're saying?
pretty much.
Which is pretty much impossible. Sounds like.
Well, it would just hurt a shit ton.
Yeah, exactly. It would be doable. It's just going to hurt, which is why they basically bottlenecked and made a good slave market. Because you're a slave and you're running away naked. Good luck.
Yeah.
You know, we have magical clothing. It probably wouldn't hurt that much.
No. But continuing the same path, you can see the large tracks, small dunes disheveled by the giant's feet. As you follow, not too far behind, but he makes a little bit better headway. You can tell that the giant is clearly trained to run through the desert and carry his master wherever he pleases. As you draw closer, you do see where the mountains start to form, and there seems to be sharper and sharper crags going down. Though some of the areas are still shallow, there's one point where the mouth slowly starts to dip off, and it's not as sharply edged and doesn't choke off, but you can see various groups that look like they're roaming the edges. And you could copy you guys over, depending on how you want to approach, or even if you want to go around it.
Everything's been going pretty well for us so far. I mean, maybe we can just watch somebody else go in and see how they get past the gatekeeper.
I'm sure we would be let in, especially just mentioning we were interested in buying some slaves. I'm sure they would let anyone in with coin.
And you are carrying a lot of coin.
Just like
Leo.
flash the bag, and like their jaws would like go into portable holes. They'd be like, "Come right in."
Welcome, VIP members.
Yeah. Yes.
I still do like my idea of the anglerfish-esque monster that's just like a wandering like horse that has a saddle on it. When you try to get on it, you know, the saddle is its mouth and it devours you.
Save it for when you DM.
Exactly. Gotta save
I've already,
Devious.
I've already said it out loud. You guys would all suspect it.
But I would
True.
still go for it. So, as you kind of look, you can see there's a few dune guards. The rest look very distinct for your approach. Very clearly, just very low-end lizardmen. They're not very heavily dressed in gold. They're not wearing any very fancy clothing. It's all very worn down, weather-beaten. You could tell, though, they do have far better equipment, though. They definitely have steel longswords, as well as what looks like slung over their shoulders. Each one have their own bow, very clearly intended to be guarding this pass. As well as occasionally you do see a very large lizard accompanied by two other lizard folk. Though as you look at what is a very small looking guardhouse kind of set on the mountain crag tops themselves, almost like what looks like to be cobra-like people, kind of sitting and overlooking all this, much more better dressed. A little bit of gold filigree on their clothing, as well as very fine silken skirts covering around their modesty, and basically very beautiful, well-kept scales.
So before we get too close, we should probably discuss now what our main plan is once we're inside the city. Are we going to assassinate the Snake Lord? Are we going to cause a revolt? Are we just going to slaughter everyone?
Well, they're
Alright.
probably doing pretty well for themselves economically, so causing a revolt would probably be a stupid idea. I don't really think many people are going to want to revolt, and I don't think they'll do equip slaves well enough to do it. I am in favor of a plan that involves us gathering intel for a little bit and seeing what we can learn about the temple and who lives there now, and then going for the assassination.
Okay. As long as we have something at least said now, I'm fine with proceeding. That seems reasonable.
Alright.
Because we need them gone or neutralized.
I'm sure Vilnak, though, most of all would agree with me that I dare say we not leave this place without those slaves freed.
Well, yes, it'll be a top-down operation.
Yes. Just wanted to make that clear.
That thing is fucking huge.
I didn't move the screen yet. Where's the big boy? Oh,
Oh,
That's
boy.
the creature you were warned about.
yeah. I don't like that
Yes.
big boy.
That's a big boy. He's got a fucking mace on his tail.
I want it.
On the way
Yeah,
out.
we're
On the
fucking
way out.
statue obsessed.
You can pick one up at the gift shop, Flora.
At the gift shop, I heard they're only $5.
Yes, 5 blood slaves.
Okay, well, I guess let's go for the entrance.
I liked your idea of flashing coin.
I mean,
And
we could probably just pay for a lot of slaves. We have like just platinum upon platinum.
Well, I mean, even if we pay for slaves, do we have enough supplies to be able to get them back?
Don't we have like endless food?
I mean, I guess we could just have, during your break, have Flora make a bunch of those baskets of endless provisions.
Well, those slaves don't need to go all the way back. Remember, they're from the people we just rescued from the same tribe.
I guess you're right.
They only need to make it to that garden.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess, you know what, yeah, we don't even need to really worry about when we're having this conversation, because we have telepathy that goes between all of us.
Oh yeah, true.
No worries at all.
Well, Argent, I assume you're going to do the talking. A fine, noble elven woman like yourself.
They seem to think I'm some kind of descendant of the snake god, so it'll probably work pretty well.
Seems
Yeah.
to work out. You weird petite thing.
Quiet you.
What?
You got a nice tan going on too.
I hit him with my hand.
You can't hit a lady?
Question mark?
Question mark with your hand?
I put it in him.
Do it.
Alright. I approach.
As you're doing, you can see the guards step out in front, and then the two snakes up above on the guardhouse. You can see them kind of keeping eye and track. They speak down as the others guarding the way stay silent. Your business here today, my fine dear.
I start singing. Make way for Princess Argent. No, I'm just kidding.
Make
Slaves
way.
like Gaston enslaves the common man like Gaston.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry. No, I'm just
That was perfectly timed. Thank you.
Make way.
While we have like our huge sack of platinum and we're just like slinging it, or Flora's illusion gold, like fucking.
Alright, well, without any hint of lying, because I intend to do this anyway, probably. We are here to buy slaves. I've heard this is a good place for it.
If you have slaves, we have coin.
If you have slaves, Now is the time.
God damn it.
Oh, fuck.
You've heard right. Do you have the coin or other offerings of trade?
Holding the bag open so I don't spill any, I grab a giant handful of platinum and let it fall back into the bag. Yes.
At this point, you can see both of them kind of stand there, excited by seeing just a bag of platinum. They clearly know what this is. Yes, yes. Galena will be more than happy to welcome you to her city. Get out of the way, you fools, and welcome our guests. At this point, they quickly shuffle off, kind of heads down. You could see them giving a very, very deep bow, as even the more snake-like people, you could clearly tell that these are probably other children of Galena's. As they immediately welcome you into their city, you could see them kind of whispering to each other as they all study over your party, but they, for those of you who kind of look back, you could see them still pointing towards Argent.
Are we riding ghost horses right now?
Mm-hmm.
Fuck
That's
yeah, we
awesome.
are.
That's baller.
Bang the guns, ring the bells, bang the drums. You gotta love this girl.
Yes.
No one flashes coin like Gaston, impresses the masses
It's
like
a little
Gaston.
late to say that I could make myself look like one of them.
Yeah, it would be a little late.
Yeah, I have potions of mimicry.
But at this point, passing by, you do see the large lizard. Even though it's still clearly trained, you could tell it kind of hunches down, looking like it's ready to just barrel charge all of you. Before the guard quickly kind of steps in the way and like jabs it with a spear to get it to calm down.
Nothing like a good spear jabbing to calm down.
I'm gonna be honest, if I was a giant monster, I don't think the spear jab would calm me down.
Hey,
I heard spear jabbing is the one-way trip to getting eaten.
you're right. Get in there.
Walk over and just climb in its mouth. Just be like,
Come on, dude.
calm down.
The best part is he would spit me out because that foul branch seed's coming right out.
It's true. Why do you think I told you to get in there? It's better twice when it goes down.
Oh.
But I think this would be a good point as you are slowly approaching into the slave emporium. You could see all sorts of races, from even gnolls being sold as slaves to orcs, others that look like more the rare humans, more tightly shackled, that you saw where the gnolls were going to sell as well as even smaller, more kind of not as strong looking lizard men, but more the grunts. There's every single race here being sold in the slave markets, as you see all sorts of strange trades and bazaars going around as well. Others offering for different weapons and so forth, and trying to quickly garner your attention. And you all harbor high attention from some of the higher slave traders and other people, some even dragging over whole racks of 10 chained up to each other, trying to follow alongside your steeds and sell them all to you, Argent.
Oh my god. I hate my life.
This brings me back.
The ring finger thing is not going on. Well,
The ring is too powerful. It must be destroyed. Valnak, I'm gonna cast it into the fire.
No.
No. But
Fucking.
yeah, I think this is a good spot to leave off on, as you now are in the markets inside the Pearl City.
Wow. Well, that was fun and exciting, and I'm worried about what we're gonna do.
Oh, yes, we would like to buy 20 slaves. Oh, thank you, sir. Don't contact me!
See, what we do is, we walk around and we buy all the slaves, then we use some kind of magic bullshit to instantly set them all free and create a slave riot.
Oh, no.